We're live.
Fancy.
Hey.
That was real fancy, man.
Yeah.
That was intense, and then it got weird and different, and then it was like, damn, we're here.
There you go. That's the way we like to roll.
Nice.
All right.
Before we get started, man, I want to give a shout out because my man ain't here, man. Shout out to Cigar Alchemist, John, man. Happy anniversary, bro.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. That's very cool.
Yeah, man. We have our guest on tonight, Brian with Privada. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Intro. Yeah, we got ourselves a new intro, so no more fun YouTube notifications.
That's
we love YouTube around here, man.
Yeah,
Who doesn't like to get strikes? Everybody likes
That's right. That's right.
It's crazy.
Everybody in the chat.
Chase, what up?
Make sure y'all are sharing the stream out. Get as many people in here as we can. We're going to have a good time tonight or this evening or wherever you are.
We should blow up the day, man. We should have a whole legion of people trying to, log in and check things out and be chatty.
Where's
Where's
the link to send out?
Let me send it to you again real quick.
Okay, you're going to send it to me by email?
Yeah,
okay,
I'll email it to you.
Cool. As soon as I get that, I'll blast it out.
Sounds good, man.
You gave it to me already, you're saying?
I did. But it's cool.
Okay, so here it is for your audience. Got it.
Yeah,
Done.
Easy.
Yeah? Okay. Let's see what I can do here.
All right.
So what's up, guys?
Dude, Brian, you're what you had at the show, your display at the show was friggin' sick. Cigar
thanks,
Public.
Man. Thank you.
Dude, that was a sleek setup.
Absolutely.
We took
a virtual tour.
Yeah, we took
the whole production.
We took the whole
production.
The screens. We took the screens back with us and we mounted them up in this warehouse. So now
That's
we have
awesome.
because I was like, hey man, we paid a lot for that, and they're like, you do own these things now. So I was like, oh okay, well then let's take these back, and we got our handyman Pablo to put them all up, and they look great. So we've been filming a little bit. I just put out the first video where we're filming in front of it, and it's different, man. That was cool, and thank you so much for the compliment. I really left there in kind of a downer, kind of a downer mode.
I left there in a downer. Fuck, I was there for one day. I left.
Well, he was asleep.
I don't. It's not my environment. I'm a fucking nerd. So like being out there amongst a bunch of people, like, and also tired as shit. I don't even drink and I felt hungover, so like, it's not my vibe, but your booth and like your production, Joe knows, like he did fucking great. All the equipment, like everything spot on.
Look, the whole thing is about, and I think so we've been doing this 5 years now, 5 official full years. Okay. And, I feel like we're all just smoking and having a good time. So we're going to start smoking, so I don't want to make this isn't a plug for Privada or whatever, but
do your thing, man.
Okay. But I guess what I'm saying is, man, is like, when you love cigars the way that I love cigars, and you surround yourself with people that love cigars, even though when some of them may not be the best people in the world, but they love what you love so much that they're some of the only people that you can communicate with about certain things, So or this thing that we're into, cigars, right? So like Joe knows, like you spot him a mile away. That's why I started talking to Jimmy because I spotted him during the whole bullshit, but there was so much going on during that time that I was just like, mute that. I can't have that distraction right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like Jimmy handled that the way a person that's trying to grow a channel should, that's interested in cigars also. So there was no hard feeling. That's why I was looking for him at the show. I was like, I'm going to see this guy and I'm going to talk to him because I knew that there was nothing like, real there. It was just at a time where there was a lot going on for me. And I was just like, fuck anything negative. It's got to go right. So like, it's like when you put these people that love cigars like this in the right environment, it all just works, and it works organically and naturally, and it's not forced or contrived, and you can clearly see that, So when you came to the booth and you saw that, I'm thankful for that. I really didn't. Maybe I'm being a little bit of a brat here, but I don't think I guess I heard while we were there. It might have been so much going on in the moment that I didn't take the compliments, and I think that's a big problem of mine.
Sure.
I hear the negative, and I don't always hear. I hear the compliments, especially if it's the same compliment over and over again.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I need to, write.
There's
that
something there.
Yeah. So, but really, it's like I kind of, this is the way I'm built. I kind of left with the negative stuff, and so thank you for saying that. I loved it. Obviously, we put it all together, man. I love art. I love creating visuals and video, and that took 5 years to put together. I couldn't have done that the first year I was in business. I couldn't have done it the third year I was in business. It took 5 years to get to the point where I could actually
it ain't
put
cheap.
that together. It's not cheap. Just even creatively, like had I gone year 2, right, the booth would have been whatever. I don't know what it would have been. I mean, I'm sure I would have put forth extra effort and done something special, but it certainly wouldn't have had virtual reality and 15 people that were like in production and doing stuff. It was awesome. I love that. My team was so on point, and I got to thank them for that.
Yeah. I think you guys did a really good job, and I'm glad you did say something, because there's like you said, it was nothing, but it was just nice to kind of get that, like, just to reconnect in a fresh start in person, not through the internet with everything else going on. It was good.
Right. Yeah, very cool. And you responded like, this is how I want everyone to respond. I don't want to like get to meet some, like it gets weird, and the industry has been a lot of weird reaction, and it's like, I'm hoping for some of these people that like, it's like we can move past those things. It's social media. Sometimes people disagree. It doesn't mean we're best friends the next day, but like, obviously we're both here.
There was no, and I'm sure like we were kind of just walking around. I didn't know who we were going to run into at the show. We ran into some people hoping we wouldn't run into others. And it was like, hey, let's walk down Privada alley here and see what's up.
We didn't have much of a choice on that.
Yeah.
And so when they brought, like, by the way, like, so at the PCA, the second to last day, it might have even been the day that I met you. They're like, hey, you got to show up at the PCA like headquarter booth and fill out your forms for your next year. And I knew at that point I wasn't coming back next year, especially being that it's in March,
Yeah.
No time to plan. Yeah. And I spent a fuck ton on it. And not for nothing, it kind of ruined a few months. Not ruined, but I am such a creature of habit and such a I started my own business because I can't work for other people.
Sure.
And that's I'm not bragging about that. That I kind of wish that I could, take I certainly have to learn everything the hard way. Let's put it that way. And so being able to just freely float and do what I want to do every day. If I don't want to shoot that video, we don't have to shoot the video. If I, in other words, now having to plan for something that is totally has nothing to do with me. I have zero control over it. where it is, why it is, what it is, how we're loading in, there's security. So you know, you paid $100,000 to go to this thing, and like, you know, people are like treating you like shit and like, yeah, whatever. So, so it's like, you know, I don't know what I went off the rails here a little bit, but
no, it's free flowing, man. We rolling.
We had a whole live stream dedicated to PCA, post PCA.
Yeah, man.
So tell me about your experiences there. Let me hear more about that from a prosumer level.
Well, also I have to say we got the email yesterday from PCA that they're no longer charging media for passes, which is
right.
Thank you.
The story ended in me going into their booth and once again only being offered the crust, which this was my first year going. I understand these people are diehards. They're there year in, year out. But I was like, even if I did want to come back, man, we'd have to talk about this selection thing. Like,
sure.
Yeah. So tell me, I want to hear. You said you didn't like it. Now I understand you didn't like Vegas, and I'm sort of a nerd too. And I surround myself with nerds. I love nerds. I love people that are thinkers. I enjoy a good alpha once in a while, but for the most part, I surround myself with people that are less aggressive than I am, and are analytical and passionate about certain things. You know what I mean? So I dig that, and we were all a little out of our element. I can hype my, you know, I can, from doing the music in my old career, I can force myself to fit in a certain hole. You know what I mean? But it's not really my thing. Not at 45 years old with a wife and kid, and like this place would have been great, you know. But it was a little skeevy. Everywhere we went was just a little like, the hotel was beautiful though. I have to say that the hotel was very
Venetian.
Yeah. They do a nice job.
Yeah. The hotel is great. The food's awesome. It's just everything. And sorry, Michael, because Michael lives there. But everything's
it's all good.
Everything. It's all fabricated. Everything's just so synthetic there. Yeah. And like the people are synthetic because the people, you know, the people are trying. I mean, literally, figuratively, they're trying to sell stuff, and like as media, you're just kind of in this like quasi weird state where it's you know, I'm media, me, little fucking cigar hound dog. I'm not shit. So like, you know, you're in this kind of weird quasi state where these, you know, companies are trying to sell their product. You know, other people are there being discerning, trying to buy product, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, so that's how I felt like a fish out of water because of that.
I could see that. If I didn't have a booth there, I'd have been, after an hour, I'd have been like, get me the fuck out of here.
Right. Yeah, but
I saw the people I wanted to see. I saw the brands who I'm passionate about. Then I'm like, all right. Then I got to meet Joe. Let's fucking. If it weren't for the interview for Cigar Public with Joe, I would have been out of there like 2 hours. 2 hours before.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but how much have you grown since PCA, man?
Nah, it wasn't worth it.
Like,
no,
like
I mean,
not because of PCA. I'm talking about stature-wise. Your channel growth is at least almost double now.
No, it's
a couple thousand people, maybe. But that's So what you're asking me, the way I took it, not in the YouTube terms, just in overall terms.
No, not you. Sorry, Matt. Matt said he was this small. No, you're good, man. Okay. He said he was this small YouTube channel, and now you're, of the people who aren't a business, you're the biggest on the platform. Like just
Lee Mac.
For far as viewership goes, I don't think so.
So it helped your channel out a lot.
No, I don't think it is. I think he's just Matt puts himself in this small box all the time. He grows faster than anybody.
Wow.
He just does.
That's great.
He's blown up faster than anybody doing this in a time where there's more restrictions for growth possible without playing really bullshit shorts game where
he's just in the algorithm.
Yeah,
I still do bullshit shorts. I still do bullshit shorts though,
but not successfully.
Yeah, true.
Well, that's great, but no, I don't think anyone really. I asked someone very huge in the industry that's been at all the PCAs, and I said, "Well, what do you go for then?" And he said, we just go. We just do it. He said, if you're asking me if I make more sales because of it, he said, the answer is 100% no.
Yeah.
Right. We picked up 40 to 60 new accounts. I think we picked up like 70 new accounts, but by the time we made it back home and said, hey, your first shipment's going out, like 20 of them were like, I don't even know who you are. Click. You know,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
so we had that. But I will say this. I met people there that I would not have met anywhere else. Or I would have, but it would have taken me, who knows? I don't leave the house, so when the fuck am I going to meet these people, right? So I met people there, and one of them already turned into an account that I know we're going to do so well with together because our audiences are just, how we didn't know about each other before is crazy to me.
Yeah, I made a whole video basically about how if you're not there to actively gain accounts, it's not worth going, especially if you are media,
especially to pay for it.
Yeah, to pay for it and then essentially work for PCA while you're there. I'm like, no, why on earth would I do this? Why would I promote your event?
They got to get it together over there. They got to get it together over there, man.
Speaking of getting together over there,
we should line up cigars.
Yeah.
So sorry, Keelan. Sorry, Keelan.
No, good.
We've been sitting here talking for 15 minutes. We're all cigar channels. It's fucking smoke. Come on.
Yeah. What do we smoke? Which one?
There you go.
I wasn't waiting for y'all, man. I got this long ass. It's gonna take me the whole thing.
Which one do you guys want to smoke? I was hoping maybe we'd smoke one out of the.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got
I was thinking the candy corn.
Yeah.
We could do that. It's a good Maduro, and then the black and tan is a good Habano. Okay, so candy corn. I'll pull it up. So what were you gonna say, Vintage? What were you gonna say?
What I was curious about, like, because Matt, you were talking about how they sent out that email, and they're allowing the media to come in for free at this point now. But do you think they're making that change just because they're trying to listen to what everybody was saying, or because is there some more calculated reason behind it? Like, hey, we're moving this thing to March. We actually need to get more people there. We're gonna need media to actually give us a little bit more. You think that's what it has more to do with the latter in that case?
Of course it does. Bro, how are they not gonna listen? The PCA is gonna be around maybe longer than me. I'm not knocking them. They have a thing. I just happen to somehow not fit into this thing so well, at least not now, right? And so
let me ask you, Brian, why do you think you don't fit? What is it that why do you feel like you're fitting out, as LeBron James would say?
They don't want me there.
Why though?
Well, I think all of them have different reasons. The big ones that do a lot of the influencing cite we're marketing the children. That's their big thing when you really get down to it. They came to the board of the so first whisper comes into my head from a PCA board member. Man, you have no idea what we went through to get here. By the way, this person and that person, the two biggest people, two of the bigger people there, we're going to threaten to pull out because we were allowing it. We told them we legally can't stop you from coming. Oh, that's nice. Next is we're going to need to come by your booth tomorrow morning, and we're going to need to take some bans off some cigars. Okay, I get it. Supposedly the FDA is around. Like, they're going to stop at Privada and go, oh, my God, they put a cartoon character on this cigar. We're fucking shutting the whole thing down. Like, but whatever. I'll play along, right? And so no, by the time we left Vintage, we were like, it was a party. No one wanted it. No one was willing to step up and be like, fuck you, get out. But at the same time, it's like, they just don't want us here. Let's not be assholes. Like, I don't feel good about being here. Hey, sales guy, did you do what you wanted to do? No, I didn't. Okay, well then maybe we're just not going to come back, and that's fine. And we're not going to shit on them for sure. They do great things for the industry. People, their biggest supporters question that part. I don't question that part. I think they're great for the industry. I have to say certain things to I'm trying to get along with no friction and no nothing.
Sure.
But I think it's a great organization and an awesome time. Had I went there and gotten some high fives and man, I'm so glad that you finally showed up to this thing. What have you been waiting for? Come to this party with us tonight. Hey, did you ever talk to Carlito? Did you ever squash that shit with him? let's talk. Let me see if I could set it. Yeah, there's none of that shit. It's all like, then you
head
see
down.
these same people at the bar, and one of them, that night at 10 o'clock pulls you, bro, I can't talk to you in front of my whole fucking company, but let me tell you something. What you're doing is keep going. And it's like, oh, that's so nice. But at the same time, it's like, why the, okay, so
the hush hush.
Yeah, we don't need to have any conflict. We just don't need to be in their lane, and hopefully they'll forget about us. You talk about blocking accounts. I block a lot of these accounts just so, not because I don't want them seeing, it is because I don't want them seeing. I just don't want, I want them to forget that we even exist and let us just do our thing. That's all I want.
Sure.
Now, was this always my mantra, Falk? No, that's why I told you, Jimmy, when you blocked me and made a video about it, it was genius. That's what you're supposed to do in media.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you all run your own channel, so you do whatever you want with your channel. Yeah. But if you're looking to create a entertainment that people are gonna share, like, and other than just informative stuff, then you got to capitalize on those opportunities. Yeah. I just now am at the point now where the cease and desist comes in, and I fucking file it away, and I never mention it to anyone ever again. I'm upset that I even said anything about the Fuente thing the other day. It went a couple weeks ago.
I gotta ask though, when you you get this many cease and desist, you get this many lawsuits, you get this many people pushing back, you're getting blocked, you're getting the people folding their arms. You don't feel like maybe I should go a different route? Maybe I should kind of finesse this a different way?
No. The same way that I couldn't, man, I can tell just by speaking to you, bro, you're in fucking Japan right now, my man. Okay? Do you understand what a big step that is? No one can, you feel something that brought you there. That's who you are. And I can see that just from hearing your voice and getting your intonations. You're like me in that sense, that when you're
literally every island I go and taste a little bit of the soil everywhere that I go, so I can get a feeling of it.
You know that that's where you're supposed to be. So when you know that you're doing the thing that you're supposed to do, you would never stop. Do I feel bad? Do I ever regret? Yes and yes. Am I doing things a bit differently now? Yes, but let me just say this. Oftentimes, and this isn't fun, but our cigars are aged. Whether you believe it or not, you guys can come to Orlando, look at my invoices, and go through those coolers. There's a fucking 1,500 full coolers sitting there waiting to be empty because we got more cigars coming in. Like, we have years and years and years and years of cigars coming. I have to plan this stuff at the time of purchase typically, okay? So when I get into drama over this guy's pumping out shit that's kid-friendly looking, right? And then I go, okay, well, what's next month's box? Well, it's the trick-or-treat box that I made 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like I can't deviate from that. You know what I'm saying? So I can't change in the moment the art on the bands. Now, I have been forced to in some cases. This year I wasn't going to put this box out this year. I was going to do whatever. I can't really talk about it, but I got a big cease and desist from a big candy company that weren't happy about the art that they saw. And it turns out, even though we changed it and we thought that, okay, we're being cute now, we're getting further away from it. So,
the line of where parody exists is never defined, which is annoying. Because at some point you're like, it's a hexagon that's colored with this on top.
Is anyone's really tight?
Mine's a little tight.
No,
little tight.
Mine's perfect.
Mine's pretty good. Mine's pretty open. Yeah.
Do you want to walk us through this particular Vitola?
Yeah. So this is from Raíces Cubanas, which is they basically did all of Alec Bradley's stuff, most of it. I know he went around to a couple other companies, but for the most part, Raíces did that. He's also very well known in the industry behind the scenes for making one of what some people consider to be this is behind the scenes. This is more like cigar maker, brand owner kind of talk now, right? These guys really, the Illusione
Epernay.
It's the only one he makes there. And we all have an affinity for that cigar on some level. Some people think it's one of the greats. Some people think it's just a great cigar. Either way, it's a great cigar. And so that's where his like underground kind of infamy comes from. He's got a beautiful farm and all that stuff. And he's a great guy. He's vertically integrated. And he makes really interesting, unique stuff. And this, he had made something similar for us with a broadleaf, but he's claiming that this is not from Connecticut, this wrapper, that he's growing it. And I'm pretty sure he's the one that did Magic Toast too. So he's got some interesting wrappers going on. And yeah, it's a good Maduro with.
That's Matt's favorite. I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's
Matt's
a cigar hound dog.
He loves the toast.
Yeah.
He loves Magic
I hate
Toast,
that
dude.
cigar. Detest that cigar. Don't listen to him.
Magic Toast.
Send him send him anything that's like that. You got to send that.
Nothing personal. If anybody here likes it, I know Keen likes it, but I hate that cigar.
You might not like this then.
And as much Ometepe as possible.
God.
No, I fucking hate Ometepe. I don't like the Magic Toast. This cigar is good so far. I don't. It's not. It's not minerally. It's not minerally. That's the issue I have with the Magic Toast. It's too minerally. But this is good.
Yeah.
In all fairness, I had it when it first came out, which I realized by looking at a box in the warehouse the other day that it's been 5 years since that came out. And I was like, no fucking way it's been 5 years. I think I just heard about that cigar like 2 or 3 years ago, but time flies.
Yeah.
So
They just came out with the 5th anniversary. Yeah.
Wild.
What I never liked the story behind it though. Do you ever read the story?
It's so cheesy.
It's
so
like,
fucking
what?
cheesy.
No, you weren't. You were not. You weren't walking around at midnight in the fields. You know, like come on. Come on. In Honduras, it's like kidnapped Central. Yeah. A couple of rich guys from South Florida just walking around the fields of Honduras late at night. No big deal.
When cigar brand stories meet liquor brand stories at that level, that's how I equate the two.
So what's a blend on this one, Brian?
Well, I have my tasting card right here. And so this is a 6x48, which is a unique size. It's been aged 3 years. He grew this wrapper and he has no name for it. So I think it's broadleaf seed that maybe he's planted down there, but he won't tell me about it. Interesting thing about this, and I think you kind of get this in the uniqueness of it, is this Colombian binder. There's something different about this cigar that you don't find in most cigars, even most Maduros. And then the fillers are Honduran and Nicaragua.
It's a very steady, very like inoffensive, like faint amount of sweetness to it. It's dark earth espresso kind of notes. It's age. You can taste the age.
You can taste the age, and in the first quarter or inch of the cigar, you're really going to get that. And you're right. Now, my draw is really tight, and normally, because I own the company and I just get more cigars, I just throw it out at this point. It makes it a very smooth experience, I could say. Is that you in Vegas? Is that Mike?
No.
DJ meant to mute me because I have fucking motorcycles going behind me, but I actually muted you.
I muted Brian. Yeah, birds, motorcycles, doves. It's happening at Hound Dog's house.
The crickets will come by later. It'll be fun.
Yeah, dead skeletons behind me.
That is cool.
This is solid smoke, man.
I gotta ask on this one. So like when it comes to you were saying with the candy, can I say that? Are you able to say is it candy corn? Like
you can say candy corn.
Honestly, I just don't want it to cause any heat.
You could say candy corn is
generic.
Yeah, it's generic. The other one was the one that we
Yeah.
So you've had that idea for 2 years. You were sitting on that for a minute.
Well, no, it's not the idea that we bought the cigars, a couple of years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So did the blend itself give you the idea for candy corn?
So when I buy 10,000 or 20,000 of a cigar, I have to try it first, typically. There's 1 or 2 blenders that I won't try the cigars from up front, maybe. But even then, they're sending me this is what you're getting. You know, that's how this business works. So if you're going to go buy a large quantity of cigars, you're either going to smoke it at the factory or somewhere. You're going to try the product before you buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So do I know? I can't write the review at the time of purchase, but I can tell you what the blend is at the time of purchase.
No, I mean more for like the marketing of it and the concept, because I'm just coming more like from a consumer standpoint, like
Why
especially
candy corn?
I would look at it like this though, not even just that. So when I first started the vintage cigar, that was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Privada was really, kind of like making its name at that time. Like you were really starting to gain popularity around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, it was, I guess you could say Black Lion Luxuries at the time. It was, Privada Club.
I remember them, yeah.
And
luxury,
that
it's a good
and luxury cigars at that time.
Cigar Pack, remember them?
Yeah. I actually rock with them. Shout out to Alex on that, man.
He's cool.
And at that time, the LCA was a big thing, and that was what everybody was hunting for. Everybody was hunting for these limited cigars and these specialty brands. They were getting away from the Arturo Fuentes. They were getting away from the Alec Bradleys because everybody was into we wanted these boutique brands.
Anything
So
that get away from Alec Bradley. Anything. Sorry, continue.
Hey, no. Hey, I'm not arguing with you. You know how we can get on that. But no. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, at that time, the limited, like everything about the imagery and what Room 101 was doing, Def Bucket and the whole nine, like we wanted something that was different.
Yeah.
So your marketing is outstanding, dude. Your marketing is like it's top tier, and it's eye catching. It's drawing you in, and that's what was drawing me in. I was like, okay, I want to check out these cigars. I want to see what all of this is about. But the majority of the time, if I'm getting candy corn, and if I'm seeing candy corn on the band, I'm trying to taste candy corn too. You know what I'm saying? Or like I at least want to get something to remind me of that.
I get lucky. Okay. Also, it's more than that. What's your first name? What do you want me to call you?
Keelan.
Okay.
Or EKB. Keelan or EKB.
It's great to meet you, and I've seen bunches of your videos, so I know who you are.
Cheers, man.
I just didn't know your name. Okay. So I believe wholeheartedly that none of this stuff really tastes like what. But what happens is I'll just remember a cigar a certain way, and I'll typically just go with that because I'm just making the art, right? And yes, it does give that cigar a name and a life, but the rest is all up here. When you read the back of a Davidoff, when a guy reads the back of the Davidoff and they go, you should be tasting subtle notes of cinnamon and earth and cedar. Where you start, it's suggestive. It is. Is it really there? I have people that forgot more than I've learned that tell me I'm the biggest bullshit artist in the world. I taste this stuff when I retro. I believe that this is what I'm being reminded of and stuff like that. So I hope that you guys have a similar experience too. But yeah. So sometimes you're stuck with that, and then you know what? It does get a little upsetting when when it's not exactly, like we had one that lined up perfectly, man. I remember thinking about mango, and I remembered a good sharp like cedar on it, and I called it mango cedar, and man, people went nuts because you could taste some mango and you could taste some cedar, and it's really cool when it does line up. I do think that licorice is like, I think candy corn. What does candy corn really taste like? It's more of a
texture.
Buttery, it's creamy,
texture.
it's sweeter,
Honey.
and the texture is there. Honey,
Yeah.
you get all of that. But see, and everything that we described right there, you can get that in a cigar. You can get those notes.
If you think about candy corn while you're smoking this, I would think that you can get reminded of sweetness and creaminess, and but you're right. You can pigeonhole yourself.
Right.
The problem is this. Banding cigars is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare to get people people that live in America to sit in a room and ban cigars. People don't want to do that shit. So normally you really want to send those bands down to the factory to get done, you know, because they don't charge you extra for it. So you're like, oh shit, that saves me like thousands of dollars of having to pay people to sit here and do it. So you really want to. So sometimes you take a little roll of the dice and you know. But I was thinking thematically a couple of years ago. I got it in my head that I was going to do all these, and that's why you're seeing them all come out now. They're themed boxes. Next month is the parade pack. This is the Halloween pack. We had sushi. I think that was the first box you got, Jimmy.
Hey, Brian, I got to tell you, I was gonna cook you over those sushi cigars, man. I was gonna cook you over.
Why?
All right, dude. I'm here in Japan, right? So I'm watching you do this thing. I'm watching you talk about this sushi shit. And when you got to like tamagoyaki, and you were just like, first you were like tamagoyaki, is it tamagoyaki? And I'm just like, Brian, don't do this right now, bro. Don't do this.
I've never had someone sit me down and teach me this stuff. I went online and did my research.
And then you're like, you know what? I've never had this before. I'm like, Brian, don't do this right now, bro. Don't do this. And then you're just like, but it goes well with sushi. I'm like, Brian, don't do this, man, because you don't want to have a cigar like that with sushi. Something so
none of these
elegant
guys
and delicate.
No, they're not gonna know tamagoyaki either. But I think that box was more about the art. Because are you really gonna taste salmon in a cigar? That's a tough one. So for me, I think that box was really about the art and the materials we were using, and the material that we got to use on those bands was really different. And the yellow and the green showed up really, really good on that. So you know, you take some.
Is what I think you were awesome with, dude. Like from an artist, I'm an artist too. I honestly think you have like one of the best eyes in this business. I'm not gassing you. I'm being dead ass serious.
He's really not.
You don't come across as a kind of person who just throws around compliments all the time.
I don't. But honestly, like your vision as far as like seeing colors and being able to see what people connect to.
Were you the one who came up with the branding for Supreme Leaf?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It's like that. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. I always say I love this fucking branding. Yeah.
Fucking gorgeous.
Terrence Riley, I won't say he almost lost his job over, but he was like, dude, Terrence Riley's the nicest person in the world. And I think especially at that time, things were moving so quickly. And I'm like real, like fast paced. Like when it comes to business, like, come on, let's just get this shit, you know, like, let's go. And he's not like that. And he came back to me and I was like, Terrence, what's the problem? And he was like, I need your help explaining to my people why it's blue, why it's orange, why, you know, can you give me? And I got so mad and I raised my voice with him. He never said anything about it, but I raised my voice with him. And he's such a nice guy that I felt you've gotten maybe confrontational in your lifetime with someone that really is not that way, and it caught you at the wrong time. No, I'm not that you in particular.
No, I'm joking. I was joking. I was being sarcastic.
I felt so bad. I felt so bad about speaking to him that way, and I got off the phone and I wrote him an email, and I still have the email somewhere, and it says it's like got arrows pointing to each color, and I said exactly why. So I had specific reasons, and that's something that I looked back on years later and I was like, wow, that's so there is a method to my madness. I'm just not thinking about it so much. I'm just doing it because I was able to break it down for him. He took it back to them and they said, fine, we'll do it. And bro, I mean, if Half Wheel knew that I fucking created that thing, they would have never wrote that article because they wrote an article saying that cigar revamped and reshaped that company.
Well, and here's the thing. It doesn't fit, and even till this day, they haven't come out with anything that even remotely resembles that cigar, you know?
No. But it's its own
thing. It's its own thing.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you on this one, Matt, because the thing is that when it comes to Supreme Leaf, they just went through another rebrand, right? They just recently kind of redid all their bands.
Validated.
How they're validated now.
What the fuck is that? What is that?
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Brian's
Dude, it's not good.
Brian's looked the best out of all of them.
Good.
Brian's looked the best out of all of them. All that gold and all that shit. Like they changed the rare leaf, and the rare leaf actually looked pretty good beforehand.
Yeah.
Now, like all of that shit kind of looks the same, and it's just like it's not nearly as appealing.
They're lucky they have such good tobacco.
Yeah.
If they didn't, they would be in a lot more trouble because their vision for their company is all over the place, in my opinion, and strictly my opinion.
But I'm doing the sandwich technique on this one here though, because I'm also like, because what I wanted to say about that, because Brian, you're like the way you deliver on the images, on the banding, and the packaging, and you deliver it to the people, it's top notch. I don't think it's anybody around here that's gonna touch you marketing wise. I genuinely say that. But then again, the other side to it from the artist side, where I'm looking at it, it's just like, I understand why they came to you like, yo, can you explain this? Because if you go to Steve Saka, he's gonna be able to explain everything that he's putting out and why it connects to his cigars. He's gonna explain what Sobra Mesa is. He's gonna explain what Wagasaki is. Same thing when you get Nick Melillo. These cats, they're gonna be able to explain everything. And a lot of stuff, like I would watch a video sometimes, like, yo, you are a master bullshit artist too. That's your other skill set too. You are a skillful bullshit artist.
What's wrong with being a good salesman?
I'm just saying it is what it is. I'm not even saying it's anything wrong. I'm just saying like knowing your skill set. And from a consumer standpoint, I'm looking at it, and an artist standpoint, I'm looking at it too. It's like,
okay,
can you explain some of this shit, or are you gonna finesse me right now? You're gonna tickle my balls a little bit with it.
No, Achilles, this is the thing, okay? What you're talking about is I'm a commercial artist, and there's very few of us, and even the ones that make it have a lot of inner conflict, because you want to use your art to make a living. And really, when you get down to it, that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm using art to make a living in a certain way because I love cigars and I love art, and I figured a way to merge the two so that I could spend most of my days working on videos and graphics of cigar art.
Doing what you love. You're doing what you love at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, really, if I got to do what I love,
it.
I would have been a musician. That would have worked out. But I'm so glad now it didn't, because cigars have treated me so well. Music treated me so poorly. What a rough life that was. You know, I'm sure you understand.
Saying that as a former butcher and a former cook, I get that. You know, I totally get where you're coming from. That's why I'm like, from an artist standpoint, here's what it is. I just realized, and I'm realizing this right now. You're Kanye West. You're Kanye. You're the Kanye of the cigar industry, bro. And I'm saying that as a compliment and as a little bit of intrigue as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Before Ye and everything else.
Yeah.
Before
yeah.
My guitar player who knew me very well, he's a little fucked up, but he knew me very well. He ended up getting a really sweet gig with DJ Premier, and they had a session with Kanye before, when he was Kanye, and before Kim and all that shit. And he was like, bro, this dude is so much like you. It's insane. Everything. He was like, I was behind him. I could see what he was looking at on his computer the whole time. It's all the same websites you go to. It's Hypebeast. It's fashion websites. It's all fucking like modern art with a twist, and consumerism somehow tapped into it. So, you know, you are right there. I hate what happened to him or what it's become, but he's fucking amazing. He's brilliant.
You can never deny the talent, though. You know, and I'm saying this before, like, because I feel like there's a part of you, and I guess it's a great talent in itself. Like, you can rub people the wrong way, but at the same time, you see your vision. Not everybody, you know, when he was, you know, before he really went off the deep end, he was just like, I'm Walt Disney, you know, I'm Tesla.
Yeah.
And he was like, y'all don't see my vision. Right. Y'all don't see my hustle. Yeah. And that is the part that you have to respect an artist. From an artist to an artist, you got to respect that side, because you want people to really understand the time it took for you to come up with this idea and to put this and implement all of that.
Yeah. So
I get that.
Let me say a few things. So some of the things are, it's every month, oh my God. Oh shit. It's every month.
Yeah.
And it's 5. These guys can't even put out 1 cigar a year every new year. It's 5 cigars a month. That's what, 12, I don't know, 60 something cigars. I'm terrible with math. Great with words, bad with numbers. That's 60 something cigars a year I'm putting out. Yes, not everyone's going to make complete sense. Yes, not everyone's going to. So I hear you, and I want to tell you that every single thing I do, I do it with attention to detail. But I will say this. The cigars are coming from people who this is their life. This is not a side job. This is not they got rich and now they want to be into cigars. Or this is none of these are the real deal people that are vertically integrated. And I've never taken credit for their art. That I don't do. Even when I blend it myself, which we do. Trust me. It wouldn't have been the same cigar. That Supreme Leaf, that wouldn't have been the same cigar. Now, let's talk for a minute.
No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
I'm very, very lucky. My mother's side of the family are all working artists. They were my grandfather was a fashion illustrator. I mean, put kids through school on art. Amazing. Quiet people, not opinionated. My father's side, player, hustler, New York City, salesman, business, don't work for anyone else, you know, all that shit. And so I was able to, at a certain age, mind you, it wasn't, nothing was working for the first 32 years, 3 years, 33 years. So I'm still like fucked up. And so it took a long time to come together, but I'm so blessed to have this ability to be a great artist, which I am. And I appreciate you validating me, because a very few people would tell me that.
Validated.
You're that's right.
Yeah, validated.
So weird. And that's what I want to talk about next is, hey guys, like this is what I'm talking about, the cigar industry, guys. This is why I'm staying in my lane and keeping my fucking mouth shut in certain terms. Hey guys, Supreme Leaf, it's a fucking hit. I got the next idea. We'll get back to you.
Right.
Bro, Akil, I'm looking for I was trying to be Virgil. I'm still trying to be Virgil Abloh.
You were Virgil on that. You were Ye. You weren't Virgil. You were Ye. You were Ye on that, because the same thing happened to Ye.
I'm still right. That was the Nike deal. Correct. That was the Nike deal. It's like, what the fuck happened?
Exactly.
Huge success. Why are we stopping?
But this is what I was talking about earlier, though, Brian. It's like the other side to it is like everything else that you do is gonna follow behind you. You're gonna leave a wake. If you're a big boat, you're gonna leave a wake, bro. And that's the thing. I think you kind of like, you rocked a few boats on that one. They were just like, I don't know. I don't know if we
really
can.
hurt. I've been really hurt since the beginning. And maybe some people say I'm a crybaby. Maybe I am. I don't know. I consider myself to be a pretty thick-skinned person who can easily let go of a grudge. I'll say that. You're from New York, right? I could tell by the voice.
Believe it or not, I'm hip hop. That's what it is. I'm from North Carolina, Virginia. I'm hip hop. So
Virginia.
You get
Where
you get that New York thing
in Virginia. Well, a lot of guys a lot of guys I knew would go to Virginia to sell. That's the whole. Yeah, we would move. Yeah, people would move down to Virginia. I'm from Hampton Roads, Allen Iverson. That kind of era. So there's a guy in my town, a white dude who was a boxer for the. He hung out with AI or like around there. He's from they used to hang out at that bowling alley. He's a
spare times. That was around the corner from my house.
He's a thin guy. You'd never believe it, but apparently he was a boxer for the Air Force, and he's from that area. He owns
Newport News.
He owns Lineage Coffee here, which is a very successful coffee place here. He does what I do in cigars. He does that in coffee. So
you got to check that out there.
Yeah, real cool dude. We've had him on some of the coffee episodes and stuff. So now, why did I create which I did. I'm not gonna deny that, and I don't think I ever did deny it. I went at Half Wheel hard. I did. I went at them hard for a few reasons. One, it was me beating my chest like, motherfuckers, I used to fucking read this shit every day, and now I'm right here with you. Respect me, though. You're not throwing any respect my way. I'm building this thing, and you guys are supposed to be the ones that are are witnessing the culture and writing about it, and you're not. And not only aren't you, but now it's starting to look as though you're trying to prevent anyone new from really getting their due. And so I started to go at them. One of the things I went at them on was they gave a cigar that was a fine cigar. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing terrible about it. They gave this cigar. It was Tony Stione. Tony, yeah, I can't believe I can't remember his last name. From Stione Cigars. Tony B. He's my guy.
Bellotto?
Cool dude. Yeah. No, not Tony Bellotto. No.
Oh, okay.
The guy from Stione, the horse, the brand with the horses on it. It's really good.
I don't think I ever had it.
Okay. And so they gave him a 60. And it was a 4x60. It was a 4x60. And they said it took them 4 hours to smoke it. And so I went and he felt so bad. He was distraught. So I felt bad for him. And I said, let me serve two purposes. One, to give him good press. And two, to say fuck you to them and let them know, like, you know, there's a new sheriff in town. We're going to be checking you on your shit. You know what I mean? So that's what it was. And it worked. It worked. But it worked in the sense of it got everyone talking about us and it grew the club. It didn't work in the sense of it divided. It was already divided. I'll say this about myself, and this is one of the few areas where I give myself a lot of credit. I am very critical thinker. It is not just what Brian, and that's where Kanye needs to learn a lot. It is not just from my position. It's I want to think about it from their position too. And I can completely understand these things, but it was divided. The game was the game before I even got here. There was no way they were letting anyone. Cigar Aficionado was not going to make anyone else famous again. Half Wheel was certainly not the place to do that. And it got to the point now where I used to think they were at least biased, but then I got to the point where I was like, man, I don't even think they're biased. And in the end, who cares? They're running a fucking business. Let these guys live. Like Charlie Minato's passionate about cigars. I love that. And I hope that one day he and I can have a cigar together and be friendly. I don't think that will happen, but these guys can't let these things go. You get into the fight in the schoolyard, that guy ends up becoming your best friend next year, or next week or next day. So,
so what do you think the tension is? What was the tension with Half Wheel? What specifically do you think like really kind of was it
covering the most exciting thing that was happening in cigars, which was us, the LCA, we had lines. We had like Supreme store lines at the first LCA shops. It was unbelievable. To not cover that. Okay. Why aren't you guys? So I got upset about that. And then there was something else I can't remember what one of the things was that I also think that you would be like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Because it was enough to do a video. And then not for nothing, but then I also got to see a little bit of why Kanye maybe went off the deep end, because you get addicted to this shit, the attention. And when it's not there anymore, or you don't get the reaction you were looking for, you start to panic. I'm losing it. We're losing the business. This is the best. Other than my wife and my kid, this is the way that I'm going to be able to be the best man, that I can be the best artist, that I can actually be an artist for a living now, because I couldn't do this in auto transport. I was making a great living, but I couldn't do this. This is what I've been dying to do my whole life. I want to affect people on a daily basis through my craft. Yeah. And so that's it. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I'm really glad that you brought that up. And I was thinking about it because there's a young black guy that was hired to be the head of Supreme's creative director, and I forget his name. He's from New York.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, and he's making a really big deal out of leaving. And I'm like crossed hairs on whatever. I get it. I mean, I don't get it. I'm not black. I have no idea what it's really like, but I get that
you're trying to break that ceiling at all times. You're trying to break that glass ceiling. That's the thing that's happening.
And I think a lot of people in business, people of other colors, think that they're doing everything gets. It's such a psychological clusterfuck for the guy who's trying to break barriers and hire the black guy, and then the black guy that's there and feeling a certain way because the people around him don't understand it, have never worked. So there's all these cultures coming together, and it's really, really tough. Nonetheless, the guy's super fucking creative, and he'll have a great life. He's the one that said, I'm only in clothing. He made me realize I'm just an artist. I wasn't a musician. I'm not a band maker. This is the only way I can get my art out. And he said, if this was the 1700s, I'd have been a painter. If this was the 50s, I'd have been a singer. If this was, that's how I feel. So I came up in the worst time for music. It was just a rap by the time I got on board. MP3s crushed shit, and it just changed the game. And then Eminem came out, and I certainly wasn't on that level. And there was a whole mix of shit, but it was just the timing was always bad. With this, the timing was right. And then what happened was I wasn't even thinking about it. We put out that Cookie Monster thing, and the fucking meter just ding, 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 the ding, 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 the ding. And man, I said, oh, they like that because that's what I like. So if they like that, I could just get busy here. And then Matt was bringing me fucking death buckets and crazy shit. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. So now, yeah, it's my favorite thing. And it's to the point where I hate to say it, but I'd probably let it ruin my business because I've had a lot of members quit because of the art. I've had a lot of members quit, not because of the art, but what they would say is, I don't want to smoke your cigars. I want to smoke the stuff you find it. And I'm trying to tell you, it is those cigars. It's still those cigars. In fact, they're even better now because we get to pre-make it and age them ourselves. But it's my art band, and they're like, yeah, I can't get past that. I need the brand. I need to see Saka's name on there. I need to see Tatuai. I need to see. And that's what
I don't think that's it, though, Brian. I don't think that's it.
Okay.
So right now, I would say for me, I can be that, that person that you're talking about. I am them, honestly.
Okay.
I'm them. Because I was rocking real heavy at first, but then when I started to look at it, especially the whole thing, when you brought up like the Cookie Monster and the bird and all that kind of stuff, the Ninja Turtles, dude, I joke about that shit all the time because it's just like, all right, for the artist, I see the vision. I understand the nostalgia. I was born in 1980. I came up during the hip hop era. I came up during the Saturday morning cartoons, Kung Fu era, G.I. Joe. I lived it, breathed it.
Yeah.
So I understand you can sell that nostalgia to us all day, but then I'm also a connoisseur of the cigars. I love the cigars. So when I get there, it's like, as an artist, as a hip hop artist, you want to create your IP. You want to draw your image. You want to put your burner up on the wall. You want to draw this and you want to create it. But then when you see somebody using somebody else's IP, then you're looking at it like, bro, why are you using their image? Why are you using their work when you are the artist?
So no excuses. That wasn't my idea. That particular one. The rest of them were.
Right.
That was Lou Liga's idea. He really wanted that for his anniversary. Okay, so I did the mutants, the pizza I had already done. So I said, yo, let's just take the pizza, call it pizza time, and then it's, you get a 4-pack with your pizza, because he wanted to do Splinter, and I just thought that shit would look weird. I don't know why. I just wanted to go with pizza. I was into pizza. I don't know. So
that's what works. That's
me too.
No, I dig.
Me too.
So but here's the thing. I made sure that those were the best Robustos that I have in my inventory. Those are some of the better cigars. So I don't feel bad about using it when the cigars are so great that I know you're going to have an awesome experience. Do I feel bad about it? Sometimes I do. I feel bad about even making Halloween cigars because Pete Johnson did it before me, but I won't let that stop me because there's room for everyone, man.
I don't think you get to claim an entire holiday though. Like
he did.
Tap,
you can't.
He trademarked Halloween.
Yeah, but you can't. You trademark Halloween, but you can't trademark all of Halloween.
Who the fuck would
trademark Halloween?
Right. Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ, guy. And he's been just a, there's another one. But anyway, so you're right, and you're right, and you are so validated in how you feel. But I do need you guys. I do, and I think some of my people that really love me can forgive me a little bit. It's 63 cigars. I got the guys, when you hit me up with the block, I got blocked by this guy. I got guys that I gave them everything. I allowed them into my inventory. I did their art for them. I did everything. They just, I mean, straight up like fucking like Caesar in the, just like right into my face, like just broke my heart. So my mental state is going out. So now I'm still trying to create during these times. And yo, it gets strainful and stressful. This is where Jay-Z makes a better artist, commercial artist, than Nas maybe, or some, he's able to create, he's the MJ. It's fucking last second on the buzzer and he's loose. Oh, done.
If I can make a hip hop analogy in this one, it's what separates a Jay-Z or a J. Cole from a Drake. Because you got Drake just tied Michael Jackson, right? He tied Michael Jackson for the most #1 hits. And everybody knows that there's some artistry and there's some talent behind Drake. But then when you dig a little bit deeper, there's that, that somebody's ghostwriting for Drake. You know that he's using something from Quentin Miller.
I can't believe he got past that. I can't believe
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, from the very beginning. Oh yeah, he cut a lot of heat.
But it's what you're saying. Like, he still makes enough quality music that people can go to the dance floor. You can dance to Hotline Bling, but me being from Virginia, that actually came from Dram. He stole Dram style.
I know.
Right?
He did. He also took, which I hate this fucking kid, got, arrested dead, I guess. Triple extension.
XXXTentacion.
He took that He took that shit like that. But he don't give a fuck.
Can you run into my beats? Yeah. Can you do this? Yeah. He stole all of that shit, but he did it in a way, he delivered it. But at the same time, Drake can write, but it's just like, so you got the hip hop purist that's gonna be like, oh, I can't fuck with Drake. I can't do this. But somebody that's not digging that far into it and they're just hearing the music, they're just smoking the cigars, they're gonna be like, he's still #1. He's still LeBron James. He's not Michael Jordan.
I think I'm 45 now. I just turned 45, and each year since like 43, I've been having these like thematic years of a lesson that really I don't necessarily need to learn, but I'm glad I learned it, and I end up beating it into my head. I see it everywhere. Last year was that not only are there 2 or 3 sides to every story, but all parties are right. Think about that. From their point of view, they are fucking right. Yep. That's why we all fight to the death over things, because we're right from our perspective, the way we see it. So, so I see going through that. So that Drake thing was one thing that gave me solace during times where I felt like everyone's going to leave me and, whatever else. I was like, yo, like, I'm a fan of Drake again. Like, so no matter how bad you fuck up, because to me, to find out that a rapper is not writing his own lyrics, you're done. What the fuck? If you asked me that before that happened to Drake, you're done. You're done. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, in most cases, anybody else would have been done. Yep.
But you're not, it turns out. So I learned that from watching him. So I said, there's nothing I've done. I've never done anything so fraudulent or like something that, I'm pretty much an open book. My members know everything about me. So I would always keep that in my mind. Like, yo, they're going to rock with you. They might leave. They'll come back. All that shit. So, and then I also think about constantly, and this is where I didn't mind being the bad guy and I was using it to my advantage at certain times, was Floyd Mayweather. I fucking hated Floyd Mayweather when he started that, when he got loud. What? You too?
Money, when you switch from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Team.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the shit that I'm talking about. I fucking love I love Floyd so much. I still don't have my own office, but if I ever do have an office one day, I'm gonna hang a picture of him up. You can hate someone and then love them, and I believe that most of my haters will eventually love me, because when you really get down to it, when you really sit down and get the info or talk to me or find out from the right people, you will see that there is a passion, a respect, and that we're doing something that no one else has done, and they're afraid of it because we're pulling their bullshit out of the game. They can't. The game was, you went down, unless you're born into the Fuente family or Padron, you went down there, you made a cigar, you came back and told everyone you owned the factory, and you can't do that anymore.
Right.
You can't. Privada's going to find out about you. Privada's friends with all the blenders and the, all the factories in Esteli, all the factories in Dominican Republic. We're down there. We're with the people. We know the people. We talk. We laugh. We know who's the bullshit. And I'm not here to damage people's careers, but I will let you know on one of these cards, this is the factory that makes XYZ product. And then you're like, oh shit. Now you can start searching.
That's why we're glad you came on to talk your shit, man. We're glad you came on to hang out with us, smoke your cigars, talk your shit. I think that's the way that you're supposed to do it.
And the honesty of saying I'm a good salesman is why I even talk to you at PCA. It's because you are like, yeah, I'm trying to sell shit. Of course I am. Because why the fuck wouldn't you?
Yep.
That's what you're there for.
Yeah.
You know what became the biggest, I won't say the biggest motivator, although I think it kind of is. And this is the thing that, because I want to say this humbly, I didn't need cigars to work out. It was a great hobby. And I had a good business. It was a very stressful business, but it was good enough. And I could have managed that stress well enough to raise a family. My house was paid for by the time Privada really got going. So I didn't need money to do this. I was doing well. I forget where I'm going with this, but the point is it's never been.
You're a good salesman.
I'm a good salesman, but the responsibility that I have now to my manufacturers, that shit kind of keeps me up at night a little bit. That's the thing that we don't really talk about. I feel terrible. We went through COVID. Everyone's mom was out buying cigars. And I was able to buy millions of dollars worth of cigars from people. And you see, I overbought, just like you guys as consumers did. I'm the same way. I love cigars. I just went out. Holy shit. You can't, please. I tell these guys, don't send me shit. Please don't send me shit. Because they send me something. And if I fall in love with it, I got to have it. I got to have it. I got to be the guy that introduces you to that cigar, not someone else. So I overbuy. That's why I have 3 million cigars sitting in coolers, which is nice to have age, and it's a collection, and it's amazing that no one's, we've done this in a different way that no one ever really has before. But you have to be able to sell in order to support the art, not just my art, but the art of the factories. And so, yes, I am a good salesman. I always say, and I came from really shit. Like when I was a musician in New York, I would take these shit sales jobs, and man, I would last a week because I'd find out like the whole spiel is a lie, or, it's not really made in America when they're saying it is, and those kind of things really bothered me, right? So every industry I got in, I authentically sold. So in the auto transport business, when you call a place up and you say, hey, I just bought a car in Green Bay and I need to have it shipped to Miami, okay? That person is a broker. When I got into that business, they didn't tell you they were a broker. They told you they were the trucking company. That's why we're all called Andrew Auto Transport, so-and-so trucking. They lead the customer to believe that they own these trucks, and they don't. They're just brokers. So they make promises that they can't keep. And so I wrote this whole spiel and made a video that explained that, hey, we're all brokers. They're all on the board. And yes, there are some customers that didn't want to hear that shit. And when they made it clear that they didn't want to hear that, I would tell them somewhat yes, we'll get it done. If I was confident I could get it done, I'll get it done. And I would leave out, because they already told me, they give you signals. I don't want to hear that shit. Can you do it or not? This guy's lying to me. Can you match what well, I'm going to explain it to you one time, and then I'll tell you what you want to hear. So I would explain it. And so that's how I felt good about it. I never felt good about lying to anyone about anything. I don't like that shit, and if you don't have to, you shouldn't. And so my thing with sales is, today people don't want to be sold. They want what they want. That's where my art came out. I was able to know that they would like it. I always felt that way about songs too, but maybe I was wrong with the songs. Maybe they were ahead of their time, before their time, whatever. It didn't work out. But with this stuff, it seems as though the market wants the same thing that I want.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of sells itself, man. I just get in there and act cool and wear cool clothes, and I expense that shit. And I fucking love doing that. And I love going to meet these guys and make the connections. And so it's just been a dream come true for me. If it ended tomorrow, I'm so lucky that I got to experience this and manage it mentally. Had this happened to me 15 years ago, I'd have been a nut job. If this happened to one of the guys in our industry, that's all these people that say these bad things about me, they'd be king shit. You want you to kiss their ring. And I'm a super down to earth guy. It's 6:30. I got a wife and kid. I should be attending to them, but I'm here with you guys and I'm enjoying it because I love cigars. I love creative people, open-minded people. And I love talking about what we did and where we're going. So I'm just so happy that you brought up all the art stuff because that's no one's really ever talked about that with me in cigars.
We talk about it all the time, and that's one thing I love being around these fellas because we talk cigars. We came together because of cigars, but all of us are creatives in a different way. Everybody has their businesses and everything that they're putting on. You see the growth that Matt has. You see all the creativity that that DJ has. You see what the knowledge that Michael has with with the industry and just how he works with liquors and the pairing. I love that we can come together like Voltron for those reasons. But at the same time, when we're behind the scenes, we're talking movies, we're talking about art, we're talking about the cigar industry. We talk about the same way we're chopping it up with you right now, good, bad, and ugly. We can put all of that stuff on the table and have a great conversation. And I honestly think that's why this, what do you call this? Is it a podcast? Is it a stream? Whatever. I think it works.
Yeah,
because
it works.
People like hearing this discourse. They like hearing how we feel about it. They like hearing how we feel about the cigars, how we feel about Privada, how we feel about luxury, because we talk from the heart.
Yeah,
and we love the art side of it.
There's no panned gotcha questions.
There's no like hidden agenda or anything like that.
I trusted that guy. He wrote me an email a year ago, and it was like, well, I said I would never say what was in the email, so I won't say what's in the email. But I don't think that he had bad intentions. I think that PCA flared up a lot of fucking anger for Privada. It flared up a lot of insecurity. And since we've gotten back, we've gotten 2 cease and desist. We've gotten a ton of weird calls. Like, it's always like, this guy's like really got it in for you. I was supposed to have PrivadaCon at a different location. And because of a relationship that put pressure on them, they were like, we're sorry. I was supposed to be dropping this project because of their biggest client is so-and-so. It's, we can't anymore. It's been a lot of so my thing is this. I'm also competitive, I guess. That's what I found out through this thing, right? So I believe that I work with. Can you guys hear me? I just lost some.
Yeah, we're good. We just listened.
I just muted Matt.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So I want to become now. I don't know if it's a healthy desire or not, but I want to become the largest and best cigar retailer now, and I'll tell you why. Okay, it wasn't the original goal. I'm a niche guy. I serve a niche people, which I do want to talk to you about that because it gets a little depressing. Because we're like the people that really love this. We are like a grain of salt in the salt shaker compared to the buying market. Apparently, the people who actually buy the most cigars don't know anything about it, don't care to know anything about it. And they're just like, hey, I'm going to my friend's wedding. Give me 2 of those boxes. Oh, I'm getting whatever. Just give me a box. Or I don't know what. But apparently, the biggest buying market isn't. They would listen to this and go, what the fuck are they even talking about?
Right.
We're like 3%. If you really get down to the real numbers, we're like 3%. Like the people in Privada, they're like 3%. The people that are really into this, that know who I am. There's so many people out there. They have no idea who Privada even is yet. So I see a ton of up potential. Now, why do I want to do that? Mostly because I want to feel accomplished, number one. But number two, I really want to be I like how we're doing this business. I think it's the right way. The way before was you use the factories until you're selling so many cigars that you go build your own factory, which we may do our own factory, but it won't be because of that. Okay. And you'll see if I roll out this plan I have, you'll see what the real cause behind that would be. But the big companies, the generals and stuff, I feel like they're faceless. And so we shine light on the people that we buy from. And I think that that's a great way to be. I think it's the way of the future. And because of that, I think we can become the best retailer in cigars. I don't know the future of cigars. And like I said, it depresses me a little bit that the biggest buying dollar it's just like beer. The biggest buying dollar is just like, I don't know, like the Corona ponies and shit. Like, it's like not guys that really love beer. It's just like people who are drinking beer. I don't know where they go. I don't know where the cigars go.
So if you're forecasting, just from a businessman standpoint and a lover of cigars, if you're forecasting, where do you see cigars going though? Because you got to have that foresight, man. You got to if you're gonna be Tesla, if you're gonna be Kanye, if you're gonna be Steve Jobs, you got to be able to see the future. What do you see?
Privada. And I hate to sound like a fucking douche. I know that's kind of a.
You sound like a douche on that one. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that's a douchey ass answer, Brian.
I know,
but I don't think he could say anything else.
No,
for what
right.
his brand is, he couldn't say anything else. Me, bitch. That's what you had to say.
That was the correct answer.
Money team. We money team, baby.
Let me explain though. Who else is putting in this much work? So there's one thing. These guys don't want to work. And then the ones even that do, they got to hire kids out of college. They're not. You see them. We have meetings with these people and the factories laugh at them with me. We have meetings with these people and the kids like, it's like, you don't smoke cigars, man. You got a job at a big company and that's great. But, don't pretend. And they don't love this thing. So if you don't, how are you supposed to win at a business that you don't really love? And you're not waking up in the middle of the night writing ideas down like, yo, this is going to change the game. So, yeah, I don't. And then the guys that do love it, the dudes that came before us in the business tip, they're real complacent. They're real complacent. When I speak to these guys and I'm like, yo, guys, I got this whole audience. They're begging for you. Go. Let's make history together. My brand is doing exactly what I want. Really? Because my brand sees no fucking limit. No limit soldiers over here. We see no limit. Why not? Let's take this thing even further. Let's go further. Cigars are fucking cool. And there's been a last 15, 20 years where cigars get looked at like some weird thing that people do at the end of the strip mall. And no, man, the reason why, and I'm not saying we need the 90s again. And I definitely don't want to see cigars being sold like with chicks and that was, but it created a boom. But
that's antiquated. It's antiquated. I totally feel you on that. We've talked about that too. That's really antiquated.
Great work.
But you wouldn't have sold me on that, Brian. That's the thing. You're a good salesman. You're a good marketer. You wouldn't have sold me on that one because what I'm looking for is like in the sense that we know that Cuban cigars aren't going to be the lick anymore. We people can kind of see through what is happening with Cuban cigars, and we know that there was a movement that you had, once again, Saka and Malillo, a couple other people. They were pushing the broadleaf. They were putting these more Maduros and things like that because they saw something. There was a palate for these spicier, these more, dense and more richer cigars. People didn't want those little light.
You're asking me to forecast.
Yeah. Like what do you like?
Yeah. No, I'll tell you. I know. I don't have to forecast. I know what exactly.
That's what I like to hear.
I can't tell you 3 to 5 years out. I could tell you a few things. Number one, I'm being offered Connecticut broadleaf for the first time damn near in my career. The Newman secured me broadleaf with the Good Life. That's basically the last time I've ever been offered actual Connecticut broadleaf. I've got access to Connecticut broadleaf again. Okay, and hopefully my true haters don't. They tune out at 45 minutes at most. That's all they can take of hearing me talk.
Not with this crew right here, brother. You ain't getting that here. You can't get out early here.
Because let me explain something to you. If you're my enemy and you really know this industry, and I said what I just said, you can connect me to someone in particular. Like that. This industry is really run by like, I don't know, 5-10 people. And when I say run by, I mean, these are the people with the tobacco. You can't do shit without the tobacco, right? And if you got the good stuff, man, you could fuck. So really that was one of the things when we started to really focus on factories and master blenders, we realized really quickly, shit, man, there's only like 15, 25 factories, maybe. To be honest, in my head, it's like 10, 12 factories that can produce time after time amazing cigars, have multiple different blends. Most of the cigars you're smoking on the market, if it's from that factory, it's the same or similar blend in a different size or just a different way, and you're in a different space. Cigars are always different when you smoke them. And so, so we are in a place of the boutique cigar brands don't seem to realize the boom is over yet. The shops figured it out already, and some of them are going downhill very, very quickly. Okay, most good shops will stay in business. It's not going to be that serious. Like I think that we came down from COVID. This is the regular market right here. And the way that some of the boutique guys are talking to me, it's like I want to tap them and say, hey man, I think you're so far behind that you still think you're catching up on back orders, but I'm willing to bet by the time you get those back orders out, people are going to either reject them, not want them, and this is where the whole lost and found cycle starts over again. Now you get to, in a year from now, bro, I'm already getting the calls. Yo, I'll give you this shit at fucking $3, something that was normally $5. Yo, I'll give you this shit at $3. I can't, I'm sorry. Then the next day they hit me again. Bro, please, I need your help right now. Oh my God, fuck. I don't want to, I want to help this person out. It's a great deal. But it's like, we're already seeing that happen. So imagine where we're going to be in another year from now. Yo, my members, they buy my special stuff that I put out. Most of them, their humidors are filled to the brim. They have thousands of cigars. I have millions of cigars. We had an awesome fucking time. And I think we created a really cool culture. This culture, even you guys 5 years ago, if you were at this point in your career, wouldn't be having such in-depth conversations about brands, factories, and tobaccos. So I'm being offered broadleaf again, which tells me the hottest rapper in the game, if I'm being offered it.
How are you going to promote that? How are you going to promote him? Like, how do you feel about Sanj Patel and his line right now? Do you smoke his cigars? Do you know anything about Sanj?
I met Sanj at the PCA. We talked about doing a release with Sanj Patel. the guy in Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was talking about Rocky.
Bloomfield.
Talking about Rocky, and his brother's name is
Nish.
Nish. Right? Yeah, we had a nice conversation at PCA. Very cool guy. I don't know if it'll work out right now, but maybe one day. Not really in the core of like what a Privada does, but hey, let's think outside the box once in a while, right?
And that's why I was bringing it up.
Sanj Patel is a guy who, I start working with Chico Rivas. A lot of people worked with Chico Rivas, Robert Caldwell, all these guys. They never mention him. Why? Because Chico's a flamboyant dude that they wanted to keep him under wraps. There's a lot of guys I've opened the fucking manhole cover for, and they've come up. And sometimes it's good for us, and sometimes it's bad for us. I created a lot of monsters. You saw what happened with Lou Liga. You watched that whole thing. If you guys were paying attention at all, I fucking gave the guy an easy exit ramp. Everything's great. We're best friends. Life's good. It's just not a fit business-wise, which was true. And he just couldn't, So we created these monsters that really shouldn't have been in certain. There was a reason why some of these guys were getting. Because people know, you let him get some fame or get it direct to the clients, they're gonna fuck it up. So anyway, I'm not saying Chico's that way. Chico's doing extremely well, but no one put Chico's name on stuff. Now people are putting Chico's name on. That's what I came here to do. I came here to add value to these guys and help build their businesses. I don't want to be responsible for buying every cigar that the guy makes. And I don't want anyone to think that just because we work together on a few projects that now I'm responsible for buying all your cigars. So, you know, it's really nice to see blenders that we work with have success. But what was the question one more time, though? I lost.
No, I didn't even get there. I like that you went on this tangent because you actually took me in a different direction. So now do you feel like, okay, so you help put people on. You put some names out there.
Yeah.
Privada, nobody can deny the fact that Privada has made a splash. Nobody can deny the fact that, you know, a lot of the names that, you know, what you say, you got 20,000 subscribers right now or something like that? Like,
no, we've had 30,000 people. We've had 30,000 people come through the club. No, not all at once. 30,000 over the last 5 years, and right now I probably have a total of about 14,000, which it was almost at 20,000 at one point. So you can imagine that's
down. Huge. That's huge.
It's huge, but coming down from 20, you're like, fuck, what's happening? And now it seems to be peace, you know?
Yeah.
But that's business though, right? You know, you're not gonna have a stock market that's not gonna rise and fall at some point in time. That's business. But I'm saying that because, so when you mentioned Chico, when you mentioned Lou, there was some conflict business-wise. Do you feel like they didn't put enough respect on your name? Do you feel like they didn't put enough respect on what you did with them mutually, business-wise, or was it personal?
So Chico, I would completely separate from the situation where if I go to the Dominican Republic and I didn't go see him, I mean, they would be so upset. I consider him a family friend. Jamil is my guy. That's his guy. But Sanj Patel. So here's a guy. I'm working with Chico. Things are starting to bubble, and I get a call from Lou Liga. Now Lou likes to start shit, but Lou tells me, "Yo, this dude Sanj Patel just told me that he bought Chico's factory from him, and that they're never going to make Privada cigars again." So I said, you know what? I keep hearing about this Sanj dude. Let me call him. He should be an LCA shop anyway. I'm sure I can use my sales ability to, you know, try to finesse something. So I called him up. I said, hey, you know, I heard that you're saying that you bought the factory. Is that true? No. Oh, would you? Well, you know, we'll talk about a bullshit artist. You've talked to him for 2 minutes. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
We talked to him from
we've had Sanj on the show. We had Sanj on the show. We know something.
Yeah, okay. So he's like, no, I would never do that. I would never say that. And even if I did buy, you know, you're still welcome. And then, okay, well, I said, hey, listen, man, you should be a LCA shop. He's like, man, I'll sell more than anybody. And I said, you probably will. I've heard a lot of great things. You're one of the few shops that's independent that I've heard about consistently through my smoking career. So yes, you probably will. And I think that would be great for both of us. And he said, me too. Tell Clark to call me. Clark calls him. But, you know, we're working on my garage at this point. I'm listening. I can hear it on speaker on the other side of the room. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to blow this shit up. We're going to be the shit. And he fills out the paperwork or he doesn't fill out the paperwork. He just never answers the call again. Okay, no big deal. It happens. We move on. Well, fast forward a year. Now I'm really rocking heavy with Chico. All the stuff that we made with him is aged and starting to come out. We put out 1491, a whole nice program with a box. I never do that. And the Sanj is going on lives telling people that he owns the factory and that he gives Privada Cigar. Yo, bro, the guy's just straight up said he gives Privada Cigar Club only their seconds, and that all the cigars we have are the throwaways that they don't want. That's the only thing that he'll sell me. And so they called me and they were like, yo, we're so sorry. Like, I don't know why he would say that. He's like a crazy guy and he seems to like go off on tangents and stuff. And I was just like, yo, you know what? That was the time with the clowns and all that. And I was like, everyone's just fucking out to get me. Like, it is what it is. It's just enough. Just add it to the list. And so,
and I don't want you to feel like that was a gotcha thing, because I wasn't even saying that for that. The reason why I was asking, because I was leaning towards the future thing, when, you know, that he was looking at the price, and he was looking, you know, with the industry killer. So I didn't know how you felt about that, because he was looking at like, hey, you got all these people, they're making $40 cigars, $35 cigars. I can put out these cigars for $7 to $10 and kill the industry. And for me, I thought that was good foresight. You feel me? You know, and I was just thinking like this.
Okay. So here.
No, let's talk. I like this shit.
Yeah. So, okay. So here's the thing. No, expect cigars to get more expensive, and expect the cigars that you want to smoke get more expensive. That's a guaranteed. I can guarantee it. Here's some more foresight that no one's talking about. Nicaragua looks like they might be trying to pull a Cuba here. Starting in 2024, every cigar that I export out of Nicaragua needs to be registered, paid to the government, a fee of $350. If anything changes on it, I have to re-register it. It takes months to do. We're starting now. They are going to be able to monetize and keep track of where every single cigar goes. If you're not familiar with Cuba, they basically have Habanos SA that runs the whole program for them. It's a government-appointed program. They bought it. China bought it, half of it, whatever. I don't know exactly how it works. But so to me, that's like, uh-oh. I always say, that's why I said the other day, and people jump on me because they don't really know what I'm saying. And it's not their fault. I'm not telling everything that I'm saying because I don't think some things need to be said right away. But when I put out that post the other morning, I'm sitting there having coffee, and I'm like, it just confirms everything. Nicaragua is the new Cuba. Nicaragua will be the new Cuba. There may strongly come a time in your life where we will be buying counterfeit or shipped Cuban Nicaraguan cigars the same way we do with Cuban, that people do with Cuban now. So that may happen, and it may happen sooner than we would like. It is a serious possibility. I love that country. When I say I love that country, I have wonderful time when I'm there. I feel very safe. The people that go there to live a very nice life. I think it's an awesome country. I think some of the people that are there are a little, I don't really talk politics, but I think some of the people there aren't thrilled with the way things have gone, especially with COVID. The government really stepped in, but nonetheless, it's a possibility that could happen there. And hopefully it won't last forever, because I do believe that also, without pun intended, Nicaragua is the new Cuba. This is some of the best tobacco ever grown. Had they discovered tobacco here first, we'd be talking about Nicaragua versus Cuba. Cuba would be the new island. This is some of the best. And this isn't coming from me. This is coming from old timers that have had it all. And they're telling me, you're getting the best tobacco we ever had. Yes, there was this one strain. Yes, there was this one factory. Yes, there was this one thing, and we've never been able to make anything like it since. But overall, in general, cigars are way better than they ever have been.
Yeah,
facts.
Agreed.
Speaking of that,
your personal? Sorry, Keelan. What's your personal experience with Cubans? Did you ever get into a point to where it's like you held them to like the highest esteem? Like, did you ever go through a Cuban phase or whatever?
I think when I first started and I was starting to make money and shit, I bought a bunch of Cubans, and I really fell in love with one. It was one of the only ones that I bought that, not every other one was jammed up, like to the point where you couldn't fucking smoke it. As you can see, I switched cigars. It happens. I'm smoking the licorice. It's so damn good. This thing is like, wow.
Hey, Brian, is that the one with Ometepe in it?
No.
Okay, good.
It's
I'm gonna light up this one.
Light it up.
No offense. No offense.
So Ometep is one of the biggest lies in our industry. They don't. A lot of people aren't using it. A lot of people. You can't convince me. But first of all, you go down there. It's Esteli, it's Condega, it's Jalapa. These are three sort of connected areas, right? It's like Allentown. It's like Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. Okay, and for all my Lehigh Valley folk out there. So, and by the way, not all the people in Vegas are bad people. It was just it's like going to New York and going to Times Square and be like, this shit sucks.
So listen, I was originally born in New Jersey. Parents moved me out here when I was a kid. Trust me, I grew up with very East Coast people, and I totally understand where it comes from. It's not a big deal. I don't take any offense to it, even though Vegas is home.
Yeah, I don't want to
shout out to the Vegas Aces, though. Shout out to the Vegas Aces for winning
back to back, baby. Well, that's all we do now is championships, bro. The Knights, the Aces. I keep on trying to tell y'all what we do.
That's awesome. So,
but I'm not a Raiders fan. Fuck that.
What were we talking about?
We were
We're
talking about
Ometepe.
So you're saying that Ometepe, like the people aren't using it. They're just saying they're using it.
Where is it? It's on the other side of the island or the peninsula, whatever. Yeah. It's on the other side. Yeah. It's near a volcano. There's only so much of the land. Well, come on. No, I don't think so. I only know of one.
You don't like that mineral profile in your cigars, man? You don't like to get that, you know, like nice minerally salty
bullshit.
I'm sure that AJ Fernandez could probably put it in a cigar very, very well. And I do believe
Matt would love that too.
Montenegro, I do believe them. I've never, caught them fucking around. If they had some, they had some. But I want to talk about Cuban tobacco. That's more important than Cuban cigars.
Yeah. Let's go.
We know that Cuban cigars are made in a communist socialist country where the people are severely oppressed. They're not able to live. A lot of times not able to eat. And I'm sure that there are probably people from other countries that we do work with that might say similar things. I can't control that. I'm in love with this shit and I'm going to keep doing it. If I see a factory I'm working with keeps their people in bad conditions, I won't work with them and I'll tell them why. And they have the option to change that or we can just part ways. But that hasn't happened yet, thankfully. Cuban tobacco is the best tobacco in the world.
Sorry, misspoke.
It's the best tobacco in the world. Why? Because it's the baseline, and if you're a cigar maker, there's a good chance you're Cuban, or you come from Cuban lineage.
Yeah.
And so this is the baseline. This is the Canary Island story that going to Cuba, and this is it's the first real place where they discover this tobacco that can be used for cigars. This is kind of the baseline. Maybe you could say, you can't say the same about it. Anyway, I don't want to compare it to other countries, but I do believe that when Cuban tobacco is good, it's the best. It does everything you want great tobacco to do, and you can roll an entire cigar with it. That's another way that they gauge what the best tobacco is. It's not what we like. What we like is totally different, and it's all personal preferences. And I think you can mimic what Cuban tobacco does to a degree. And I don't think that most of us ever get to try a Cuban cigar that is truly worthy these days. Okay? But I think left alone, had science not been involved in any of this shit like it has over the last 20 years, left alone, Cuban tobacco is the best tobacco. The problem is it goes into a construction that is it's far from
not up to par. Right. So what is your go-to if you're smoking a Cuban? What was that one that you really dig?
I always loved the one that I really dug was I got my hand on a Caribe edition of what's the one that was on 8th Street? EPC took the name. La Gloria Cubana. I got these La Gloria Cubanas. Yeah. They were kind of 5.5 or 6 by 54. They were kind of a big Cuban, and they were just fantastic. I still have them. I have bought 2 boxes. I still have a quarter of a box left. And lately, when I go back and smoke them, there's not much going on there. It's been a while. They were from 2014 or something like that. So, but aside from that, you got Honduran and you got Nicaraguan. Honduran doesn't get done well all the time.
Shit tastes like dirt most of the time. You got a couple people that can really finesse it, but for the most part, that shit tastes like dirty ass. That's my opinion.
By the way, I've had all these not all, but I've had a lot of these tobaccos tested as an inhalable, and Nicaraguan was the cleanest. I tested Dominican, Honduran, and Nicaraguan was the cleanest. Why would it be the cleanest? Why would it be the cleanest? The reason why it would be the cleanest is because they are taking more time to cure and ferment properly. Okay. So Honduras, the capabilities are endless. The Aroa family has the best Corojo in this industry. That is
fire.
It is the original Cuban seed, and this isn't me. Again, when I say what's the best, this is after talking to all these people and putting it together. I'm piecing together a puzzle of some of these cigar manufacturers. Now, mind you, I don't get to sit with Don Pepin. I don't get to sit with a couple of big guys. But for the most part, I've sat with enough of these cats and ran enough of these stories by them and these theories and got their opinions on them and how they felt. And the Aroas have one of the best tobaccos in this industry. There's not really much wrong you can do with it. Jalapa, Esteli, these are growing areas that, I mean, when it's done right, you can't get much better tobacco than that. Nonetheless, no one ever talks about the fact that almost every single cigar you smoke, the wrapper leaf, which depending on who you ask, can be from 30% to 90% of the flavor profile. It's all grown in Ecuador. 90% of it's grown in Ecuador. When I get cigars with wrapper leaves that aren't grown in Ecuador, sometimes it piques my interest because it's different right off the bat.
So out of your line, out of Privada and everything that's coming through your company, what are you smoking on a regular basis? What are you picking up just like when you're just chilling, when you're having your coffee? What are you smoking on?
It changes every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes every day because it has to. I'm smoking test blends, or I'm reviewing for the next month's box, or I'm, you know, it's work. I also have another thing that I'll call it a problem. When and I hope this doesn't sound douchey, is when you are given access and you are sort of not trained by, but mentored lightly by some of these people, and they impart with you ways of understanding tobacco differently. When you see how it's smoking, why it's smoking like that, when you see the wrapper and you see, you know, these things that you get told, what you like changes, and what everyone else likes is what you used to like. So now you almost, and again, I don't want to.
It moves you ahead of the curve, so to speak.
And that's not a good thing. That's not fun, because I personally can't always predict what you're going to like. What I go by is the feedback. My members communicate with me. Like, on top of all this other stuff, I spend 2 to 3 hours a day communicating with members by email, instant message, all that shit. I get help. But if you want to talk to me, you can email me, info@privadocigarclub.com, and I will get back to you within the day. And so I go by the feedback. Every month I put out the box. Mind you, I picked these cigars years ago. They go in the box the week before. You know, I probably review them 2 months prior so I can get the cards ready. The week before, I'll smoke them again. And almost every single month, I go, fuck. They're not going to like it. That's it. They're not going to like it. They're going to hate me. And every month it's the same thing. Yo, that shit was my favorite. But oh my God, I can't believe. You know, once in a while you get the guy that says, hey, I didn't like it. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't like that one either when I smoked. You know what I mean? So like, but the bottom line is this. You'll never get everyone's palate, right? You'll never please everyone. The idea is for me to learn as much as I can, pass on all of the information that I can give to you, which is 99%. Okay? There's a few things that I can't say here that I would love to have the conversation with you offline. Okay? And we can easily do that. If you work with the best people in the industry, you will get a great product. Doesn't always work out that way. But if you know your shit and you know who knows their shit, you know who to hire to get you the right product. And that's what I do. I'm a curator who goes around finding the best manufacturers in the world. I take their cigars, I put my art on them, and I submit them to the public, you know, to smoke and enjoy.
So who are you working with right now that you love and that loves you back as everything that you're doing? Like
no one's ever treated me. No one's ever treated. There is no better cigar manufacturer out there all around. This is Michael Jordan talk here. I'm not saying there's not a better three-point shooter. I'm not saying there's not a better dunk. I'm saying the Michael Jordan of this shit is AJ Fernandez. He's 42 years old now. He has taken over this game. He is
AJ only 42?
42 years old.
Yeah, he's young. Shit.
He's
damn. I'm older than that motherfucker.
He built this in 18 years. He is a tobacco genius. No other factory can offer you the amount of variations of blends. No other factory. There is almost no other factory that I can just get the fucking cigars and put them out. I don't ever have to draw test, QC his shit. None of that. Every one of them smokes almost perfectly every single time. There's no one else that can, there's very few other people that can do that. You know who does that pretty well?
Who's that?
They're working with different materials, so it's a different product. But I am so impressed with Blackbird's construction. Whether you love them or not, their construction is on point. And you start to pay attention to, as a person who's financially responsible for these cigars. In other words, I replace cigars. If there's something wrong with them, I'll replace them. So when you're financially responsible for the cigars, you start to pay attention to construction more than you did as a consumer, prosumer. I don't give a shit if a cigar runs. If it's the best cigar I ever had, I'll touch it up. I love touching up a cigar when I'm smoking. I talk so much on these things. I'm always touching up, you know? So, you know, construction is an issue. I think that there are some people in this game that either have the best tobacco and make a good cigar. Plasencia is that company. Look at Plasencia.
Yeah.
If they were true blenders, they'd have a million fucking cigars out. But they're going slow. They have their specific blends, and they're very similar in some ways. And it's a very rich tobacco experience the whole way through. You don't get major changing typically going on. It's just very good tobacco. When you have a great product, you will make great product. When you have good tobacco, you will make a great product every time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then there are those that are alchemists. This is, you know, a lot of the guys in Dominican Republic, man, it's not as rich of an experience. They're piecing things together often, the smaller guys, you know? So they got to make things work, and they have ways to do that. And that's cool to see too. And Chico definitely came from that school of putting it together. Now he's got money. Now they're building a factory for him. Now, you know, a bigger factory. Now he's got more tobacco inventory and can buy different unique stuff. So now I would expect to see his best stuff come out now, you know, going forward.
Brian, this black licorice is fucking great so far. And
Yes,
luckily, it tastes nothing like black licorice. Thank God, because I fucking hate black licorice.
This is.
I was going to ask if it did too.
This was the cigar that scared me. I smoked it like a week before, and I was like, "Fuck! It didn't age well. They're gonna hate it. I'm gonna lose."
This thing is great. This thing is like, yeah. The candy corn was okay. This is really good.
When candy corn smokes well, I really like it. My favorite is this one, the black and orange. The licorice though, this is a special cigar. Then you run into this problem. You can't trust anyone. People start to watch you on YouTube. They know what you want. They know how to sell you. They see your stories. What turned you on, what turned you off, and then you'll notice that their pitch to you is, hey, we got this cigar because it was supposed to go here, and you're like, why would you never met, you know? So this cigar has a great story to it, and if it is what they said it was a really expensive cigar too, but the size was so short that people didn't want to spend a lot on it, and so it never sold a lot, and this guy who was basically licensed to make these. So in DR has a lot of this. They got a lot of shops that are making stuff for other people.
Yeah.
If I could ask Brian about the relationship with Penelope and kind of the alcohol side of it, because like I work in the liquor industry out here in Las Vegas. I have for over a decade. Wow. Started behind the bar, went into mixology and cocktails, did a whole bunch of different certifications, spirit judging, all kinds of stuff like that. And I noticed that you're one of the ones that kind of leans into that the best when it comes to marketing cigars based off of spirits, pairing the two together, developing relationships with whiskey companies like Penelope, I believe it is. Yeah. And I just kind of wanted to touch base on that a little bit too.
Yeah. So we did the thing with Penelope, and then I got to give him credit. He was like, yo, why don't you age the cigars in the barrels? And I was like, cool, send them down. And we did, and I was blown away.
So you were doing this with already rolled cigars?
Yeah.
Completely? Okay.
Yeah. I'm the only person. I'm the only person that I know of. I think Industrial, their shop in Texas, I think that they do it like once a year. They might, because I saw them with a barrel, and I was like, why would they have a barrel if they weren't putting already made cigars in? They don't make cigars there. So yeah. I think to give credit where credit's due, I think they were doing this before me, but there was certainly no blueprint and no one known for doing this. So we're going to be those people. And so, yes, and you damage a lot of cigars. It is an art figuring out when to put the cigars in, how long to put them in for. It's a whole beast of its own. I've lost well over 2,500 cigars doing this already, which even at $3, $4 a piece, that's a lot of money. It's over $10,000. Plus, I was buying all these barrels to do it. And so I said, hey, man, if we're going to buy the barrels, right, why don't we just buy the barrels with the bourbon in it, sell the bourbon to our people, and then we can match the bourbon with the actual barrel. So now you can have this bourbon and smoke these cigars that were aged in that bourbon's barrel.
Yeah.
And I became really fond of that, and I am really fond of that. And so we did something with Penelope. He suggested we do it. We fell in love with it, and now we decided to go to MGP ourselves because why not? You know? Plus, he just sold his company. Great for him. Congratulations. They made a fortune.
Sure.
And I asked him for advice. He was like, people are offering me spots on their board for my consultation. I was like, all right, man. Good. Thank you. And good luck to you. I'll see you around, And so he's like, just call MGP. I called MGP and, and we bought some barrels and we'll see where we go from there. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the spirit side, but we're ramping up to do something serious. I just don't know what it is yet. And it might be something far out of left field.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very sweet. Yeah, that was actually my only interaction with Lou League at PCA was I was trying to get like a sampler of the spirits ones to feature on the channel. Cause my channel, I do mostly pairings, at least towards the end of the review. And then he was like, yeah, UPS didn't arrive on time or whatever. And you guys had some sort of, I don't know.
Just email me. As soon as
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we just got the barrels and we decided, we're sort of deciding that we're not going to bottle it until after January 10th, because when we got the barrels, we realized we already labeled it. We got the labels registered and everything as 6 year. But on January 10th, they'll be 7-year age. And they're actually the first year that Privada started. So these are probably going to be really, really special stuff that I don't do much with. But then we're going to keep doing it again and again. And then we'll see where it goes. I could easily see becoming a niche spirits producer.
Cool. There's so many parallels, like with both industries. Even the way that stuff's marketed, the history of cultivation and us taking it with us everywhere we went as humans, like
unbelievable. Yeah. And I have to say, so far, I mean, I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg yet, but everyone that I've spoken to in bottle manufacturing, spirits manufacturing, spirit sales, they've all been extremely encouraging. Extremely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big market. For sure, but there's definitely opportunity, especially coming from the cigar end of the spectrum, and having that understanding of
angle.
Yeah, how things are cultivated in different countries and distributed around the world. I mean, there's a lot of parallels.
So cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So
Brian, like out of all the cigars that you've produced and have released, what's your personal favorite? Like, what's your baby? What's like a cigar you always look back to and think like, I want to make that something like that again. Like I want, like you kind of always like, look back to that cigar and be like, that's my blueprint for like a fucking fantastic cigar.
Yeah.
What's that cigar for you?
The Cuban Link is the top of my list. It's a Connecticut shade made in Costa Rica.
Nice.
It's just really, really good. The Montenegro Batista, that is one of the best cigars I've ever had anything to do with. There's been so many of the AJ stuff that has just been absolutely phenomenal. The Wes Anderson series, it's had some cigars that has just been like they're groundbreaking. This last one that we put out, this FF Fox that we got the cease and desist for, that's one of the best Habano Nicaraguan full body cigars I've ever had. I mean, these are cigars that if I can remake the blends next year, we might do just an actual Privada Cigar Club line of cigars, and these will be blends that I'll be looking at, to put out.
I hear a lot of people talking about the Padilla Catcher in the Rye. Is it? Like people like they say they've had that cigar and like that's their favorite that they've had.
I have a few if you want them. I thought it was very good. It was very good, very good. Not won't take anything away from that for sure. He works with Raíces a lot too.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if that one was made at Raíces or not. I gotta remember back or search it. But he works with them a lot too.
What about this? The people who follow Privada, what are they buying up the most? What are they talking about the most? Since you're in contact with everybody, what are they talking about?
I'll tell you right now, this Anatomy of a Bat has been a hot seller. We did this sort of as an exclusive with Espinosa, and so it's a box that you get, and it's got the Murcielago in it, and it breaks down the entire blend into puritos. And so you smoke the different puritos. You smoke the different ones up until the 30th. And then on the 30th, we're all jumping on a live. And we're going to smoke the actual full cigar together. So that's really cool. The cheesesteak, Privada cheesesteak, we made this with inspiration to our Philly trip. That one's doing really, really well. The Wraith series always does well. Anatomy of a Bat is killing it. There's a cigar that I made with, which I would love to make this a Privada Cigar Club cigar, and I know I can. The problem is the size. I can only put out small ring gauge cigar sizes when you're forced to buy it. In other words, in the club. Even the LCA, the owners of the shops will be like, dude, I don't want anything under a 46. Like, you cannot send. It's like, it's crazy. So we put out a Corona. It's a 44 by 5.5. It's fucking dynamite. I had a little bit to do with the blending of it, and it is just so damn good. Problem with small cigars are they cost me almost pretty much the same thing that big cigars cost. So it's like silly because I can't sell it to you for more. You're going to think, oh, if it's only 3.5 inches, well, I want to pay, 3.5% or, whatever. It just doesn't work like that, not yet anyway. And I do believe that over time, as our buying power becomes bigger, we'll be able to get better deals and better things. I don't typically negotiate. I'll pretty much take it at face value. If it's a number that I just can't hit, I just say I just can't. And they'll say, well, what do you need? And I'll say, well, this. I mean, if you call that a negotiation, a lot of the guys that do what I do, not that there are a lot, but like some of the companies, the big companies, when they give you a contract to make 100,000 of this cigar, or whatever, they beat these factories up. They beat them up. I just don't do that. Our members really value these rare, interesting cigars, and they're willing to pay $1 or $2 extra for them, and and so that's cool. Talking about forecasting, I think we've seen a lot of really expensive cigars hit the market, and that's why I'm saying I think it's going to keep going because they're making an $18 cigar sound kind of okay. If it's a reasonable, okay, I'm going into a lounge, fuck it, I'll spend $20 on a stick, that kind of thing. That wasn't something that I would have done back in the day, but people are doing it.
That's not too crazy to me if the cigar is good though. But if you got a $40 cigar that's like falling apart on you all the time, that's when the shit is getting crazy right now. That's the problem that I think everybody's having right now.
And I'll tell you something else. I'll tell you something else. Most of the blenders, the same way that I'm like with the members, like, I love this cigar, and they'll be like, yeah, it was a good cigar. It's not like if I like it, they're gonna be like, oh, this cigar was terrible. It's just like, I'm like, no, you don't understand. This cigar is this, and it's got this in it, and they're like, ah, okay. Did you see the wrapper? Did you see how beautiful? Whatever, man. I like this one. And it's like, well, that thing was a cheap piece of shit. You know what I mean? So it's like it gets frustrating, and it's the same way even with the blenders in their own lineup. Their good stuff isn't better than their what they consider to be their not good stuff.
Right.
So I can get some of, not to pick anyone up, but AJ is one of those guys, man. He'll make me a cigar that costs more than anything, and it's very, very good. And then he'll be like, yo, I have these sitting, you know, I'll give them to you for whatever. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take them. I can put them in farm road. And I'm like, this is your best work. What are you doing? That's just the way it is. Yeah.
The Nicaragua series by AJ Fernandez. It's like one of his budget lines. Yeah, it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Shit,
and like you rarely
how
ever
I
see
feel
it.
about that shit, man. Yeah, which is crazy to me though. And that's the thing. Maybe I feel like just in general, you got a lot of people who aren't really tasting the cigars. They're smoking the cigars so they can be cool. They're smoking the cigars so they can fit into this collector's thing. They're, you know, so they can fit into this fashionable niche. But if you're really smoking the cigars, I would take that, you know, Nicaragua series over a lot of the cigars that are out there just because that shit tastes good. That shit is money. But you got a lot of people that are just missing that. They don't.
They're not retro.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the case too.
Yeah, they don't know how to smoke yet. They'll tell you. Do you retro hell? No, bro. I know manufacturers that weren't retro helling. Believe me, they see someone because they live in this place in Dan Lee, and they're not exposed to. They don't go to Nicaragua all the time. They're not around others. So they just it's the family business, so they do it. And then one day they see someone doing it, and they're like, "Yo, what is that?" There's a funny story. I won't call out people, but it's a very well-known cigar manufacturer. He was like, "Yo, I saw this guy blowing smoke through his nose." And he said, "I went behind the curing barn and I tried to do it, and I got sick." And he was like, "I didn't even realize I couldn't even taste the shit before that." So it's everywhere. But, you know, I think Privada's doing a good job of educating people. I think your channels are doing a good job of educating people. I think YouTube has been a blessing, even though they're fucking us over majorly. I mean, I get down on it sometimes where I'm like, I'm just going to fucking stop. Like, what am I doing this for? Oh, my views are down and my content got better. How's this possible? So, you know, it's a labor of love. I would just say try to monetize it any way you can, you know, and not in a bad way. Like just try to make you money, you know, try to have something. If that's what you want.
I don't think that's here, man. I mean, maybe with merchandising, you know, maybe if you're taking, you know, Cigar Hound Dog and putting it on a t-shirt. Yeah. You know, if you're taking Pick Jimmy, you putting it on it, or if you got a dope ass hat, you know, something like that.
The vintage cigar hat, or so that someone that wants to support your channel can, and they don't have to go through Patreon and get ripped off or whatever the fuck. I'm just throwing shit out there because I want people to stick with it. I want to see you guys doing this 10 years from now, you know.
But even so, say for instance, if you decided that you weren't, right. If you're allowed to, if you're not like. If Privada is not going to be on YouTube, per se, then how are you going to get out to the people?
So,
what would you do? What are you going to do?
Remember what I told you.
What's up?
I can't put thoughts together tonight. There comes a point where you cross over. Okay?
Right.
And that's why we might be, or I might be disappointed in some of these people and the way that they're handling their success because they don't seem very active and they're not doing things to excite me, the things that made me fall in love with their brands.
Sure.
But their sales are better than they ever have been because they crossed over. There's a threshold.
They're too big to fail now.
There's a threshold where you'll have 400 shops across America that they couldn't even imagine their store without your product in it, and they sell the cigars. Tobacconists sell cigars. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
You want to? I love hearing, oh, this doesn't sell well here because you're not selling it.
Yep.
This does sell well because you like that and you're pushing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying get your brand into shops, have people try it, have people passionate about it, and then it'll sell itself.
I'm saying that I'm getting less views now and selling more in my shop than I ever have.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So over time, it becomes something else. We're no longer the wild, maybe we won't be maybe the club will just continue to go down over time. But you know what? LCA is continuing to go up and the shop are continuing to go up. So they'll make up for it. And so it'll get to the point where I don't have to make videos because when you search a certain cigar, you're going to end up on Privada's site. You've heard of us. You like the way we look versus our competitors, or we have a product that no one else has, and you shop with us. And that's what's happening. Thank God. Those seeds that you plant grow into something. And you have to change with it. You have to learn how to do better SEO on your website. You have to constantly be progressing. But if you do all those things, even when by the time my shop supersedes my club, people are going to say, he's a has-been. This is boring. Privada's boring now. Used to be fun. Same shit I'm saying about their brands. It used to be fun. But meanwhile, they're like, yo, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm selling more than ever. I'm living my life. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, the smaller you are, the louder you have to be. And the more people will champion you because it's reminding of them what they wish they could do. And then you cross the point of success, and now they're no longer like with you. They're like, oh, I didn't succeed, so now I'm against you. Not totally to the point where they're rallying against you, but they're not there anymore.
I'll tell you the thing that broke my heart. I've had a lot of heartbreaks in this industry because I love it so much. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't care. But the thing that's broken my heart time after time again, it's remember, what I do is very community based. I make my members feel like they're a part of something because they are. Their feedback shapes my buying habits. They become, the louder they are with me, or the more they communicate, I should say, with me, the more they become a part of it. I didn't know, because I don't know anyone who's ever had a business like this, that in a community, group psychology kicks in, and group psychology is bizarre. It is not something that you can make sense of. There's no logic, rhyme, or reason to it. Your proudest, loudest members will become your biggest fucking haters in some cases. If I say, and you guys probably, because you all seem like very normal, down-to-earth guys, right? Which is saying a lot in cigars. So I say, and you guys probably think the same way, if I was following someone on a journey, buying a product from them, and I really liked what they were doing, and then one day they did something that I didn't like, or I fell out of love with the product, I would quietly back out, and I'd always be grateful for that one-on-one service that they gave me. Mm-hmm. That is not how a lot of people think. When they, and this happens in waves. It happened like in the first year and a half, then it happened in 3 years. Then you guys kind of witnessed something happening last year, which was crazy to me. I mean, these are the guys that I did the most for. This guy's the Indian dude with the jets and stuff. I made him his cigars. I did everything I could possibly do for these people. There's nothing. That's why I came to the conclusion that I believe that they believe that they're right. And from their point of view, whatever I did or didn't do, in some cases it was didn't do. I mean, I had one guy with the Penelope thing. He hooked it up. He calls me before I got the product landed. And he was like showing me bottles of my own product before I had it. And I was like, okay, I guess. And I made a sly comment that it really affected him. I said, I guess I don't have to pay for shipping then. What a terrible person I am. Well, you know what? You know what? To this day, and I've even called him, and because I found it, he told someone what it was that was bothering. I called him. I apologized. Sent him stuff. Sent him things I never send people. And he said, "Yo, thank you so much." It means that, and still to this day, he won't touch anything Privada. He won't talk. And I know he's down with everyone that fucking hates me. And it's like, fuck, man. You know, the Matt Booth thing doesn't break my heart, but it's like, what the fuck, man? Come on, let's get over this shit. Like, let's get back to business. I don't know if he can still make his own projects or not, or what, but you know. There's been a lot of things, and then you find out you get lied to. I never call people out. I just keep it moving. I keep it moving, and I look at that as a big offense because I'm writing this story. This story cannot be untrue. It cannot be bullshit. Right. One story's bullshit, and then everything I ever did was bullshit. It has to line up. Facts have to come together, and I found out someone was lying to me. I just stopped buying from them. That's it. That's all I can do. Not gonna. Come on. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I think all of it matters, man. I think, like you said, the whole thing is about community anyway. And then you have your community that you have that's Privada. But you also have the cigar community. You have the people that you have to work with behind the scenes. You have the people that it's going to be a lot of shaking hands and rubbing shoulders and all of that. That's part of the game. That's part of the industry. Yeah. You can't get away from that. Yeah. So it's going to be some ways it's like you're going to have to control your wake. Yeah. Privada is a beast. Yeah. Then you're going to come through. You're going to crush some buildings, but you got to understand, like, watch where you step in. Sometimes it's going to be that thing, man. It's a delicate balance, man. I like having this conversation because it's kind of good to see, like, how a lot of it is affecting you on a personal level.
Yeah.
I think, if you're looking at it from the internet, but I mean, if you're looking at it from the internet, you're going to get the social media hype. Yeah. You're gonna get all the people screen grabbing. You're gonna get all the conversations that is happening in somebody's comments. You're gonna get the videos. You're gonna get the sneak dissing and all that kind of stuff. But you're a man behind all of that, regardless. You're still a person. That's the part I think.
The guy Dick Holden, or whatever the fuck his name was.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, doctor.
Yeah. I call him Holden Dick. He said that we didn't give money to charity.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that make a guy look?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And and I didn't respond because by that point I had been beat up so much that I was like, why would I justify this guy? Clark was like, yo, don't fucking reply to this guy. He's the nobody. Who cares? But you know what? I can name one or two big members, guys that bought a lot from me, that they stopped buying from me around then. They believed it. One of them even called me. Why aren't you responding to this shit? You are the king of fucking people up online. Why aren't you going? And I'm like, it's so. All I did was post the receipt. Do I need to say anything? You can clearly see I gave the money.
Yeah.
So you will be attacked. There's a monk online that's trying to become not trying to. He's a YouTuber. He like goes against the Shaolin way or something, and he's teaching, the Western world. The bald head dude. He looks super intense. He said, it does not matter what your intentions are. If you cast a lot of light, you will create shadows. It's just the way it is. He said, even in their world, it's just the way it is. If you get a lot of attention, if you make a lot of impact, you will bring out, the haters.
It's the Marcus Aurelius Stoicism kind of philosophy coming to light.
So where do you think you have the most misconceptions, just from consumers, from the industry? Where do you have the most misconceptions? What would people not understand about Brian? What do people not understand about Privada?
The thing that kills me the most is when I hear, and this is the biggest thing that I hear from the consumer side of things, he buys cheap cigars and puts cool labels on them and sells them to you guys for. That's the. Oh my God!
I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of those guys, man. It took me back. I can't front to you. I will be right here. Like I fell back, just like you said.
It's so, if you would speak to the manufacturers that I work with, they'll tell you the opposite. They'll tell you how much I care. They'll tell you that I didn't beat them up in price so that I could get a good product and that they weren't stressed making it. They'll tell you that I age product when no one else does. These guys lie about age all the time. We have real age. It's there. It's happening right there. You can see it in the videos. They'll tell you that I love this shit and that I wouldn't do that. I'm not here to sell a product in that way, right? Everyone has to mark up a product in order to pay themselves and pay for the overhead. And yeah, of course you have to. Otherwise, how are you supposed to compete with these guys? Now, I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm also a believer that even a lot of the people that I don't necessarily get along with or love in this industry feel the same way. They're putting their heart and soul into their product and they want you to love it because that's how they get their love. That's a form of being awarded with something by making a product that not only are you making money off of. I didn't see this. I didn't see myself going this hard. People started sending me thank yous. And I was like, thank you? Thank me for selling you a product? Holy shit. Wait till you see how much better I can serve you. And I keep going and going. And now we're going to do concierge. We're going to do more videos. We're going to take you on trips now. Now I'm going to fucking risk my life and go to these places and fucking and take a camera crew with me to communist socialist places where they don't want you to bring cameras. And I'm going to do all this shit and get you the real deal and tell you the truth. And to hear that after putting that much effort into this and after aging cigars, bro, the coolers are expensive. There's 3 or 4 times the cost of aging cigars, but there's no water in the air. The water destroys cigars. It's only good for cigars that are in boxes or are moving quickly. You've seen humidors destroy cigars with the water. You've seen it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a dry leaf.
So that's the biggest one. As far as anyone in the industry, what I don't like is when I'm doing business with a manufacturer and another manufacturer who doesn't like me tries to taint the relationship, but that's just life. That's business. Yeah. That's the one that bothers me, though. The one that, oh, he's just taking, and I'm like, dude, no, you can't get, no, this is not garbage. This isn't cheap shit. You know what I mean? This is not, no one, bro, these guys only really sell in Europe. Their cigars are so good. Everyone I give their shit to is just like, what the fuck? So, no, man, I love the product. I stand behind it. And I wish it did cost me $1 to make. So, yeah. So, I'm going to go hang out with my wife. This was an awesome and probably the longest pod I've ever done. This was awesome. I did not expect this. I didn't expect anything bad though, Jimmy. I tell you, when even after like I just went back, like once I was able to like have time to myself to like do stuff and I started watching, I was like, nah, this dude's, I like what you're doing. It's different. It's different in a different way. I don't know exactly.
Definitely different.
Yeah. And
that's why we fuck with him.
Yeah.
That's why we fuck with him.
And I appreciate that. And now that I'm seeing your faces, I know I've been on all of your channels and I like what you're doing. You're all good for the culture. And you know, I'm so happy that we got to have this conversation because you guys got a lot out of me with the art.
That's the purpose,
right?
man. But
that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Keelan. Yeah, you're a real dude though. So we wanted to have a real conversation, man. This is no gotcha shit. We're not doing no bullshit with you.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully your audience will give you feedback, and hopefully that's something we can talk somewhere down the line, man. Because we wanted to to put a real person up here and have a real conversation, bro.
If you or any of you, or if you all want to come at the same time, I have like, it's not the prettiest thing, but it's sort of a sound stage now. Like we have like a real deal thing. We got equipment. You guys come to Orlando, you can use that. My film guy will take care of you. My producer will work with you. We could do. We could plan stuff ahead of time and then do segments, whatever you guys want. If it's about cigars and cigar culture, I'm 100% in, and I would love to. If you guys ever decided to do that, or if you just come down one at a time, if you're going to be in Orlando, tell me a month ahead of time. Let me get you on camera. We'll try some different things, talk about some things, and yeah,
That's what's up, man.
I will support you guys any way I can. And
cheers, man.
Killing, I've always been very disappointed that I never see any of my products on your channel. In particular, as soon as you got on here, I was like, oh no, I hope, I don't know what our situation is, but clearly I see who you are. And
I've been 100 with you, man. It's like, hey, if you would have sent something out to me, I would definitely review it. I'm not doing reviews anymore, but we always gonna chop it up. I'm doing lives going forward. We doing one-on-one, man. It's
I
real
just
big.
want to make you fall in love with products. That's it. And Jimmy, I saw some of your unboxings. I feel like you're not impressed, but I also really just I know you did read some of this stuff. The club is not for everyone.
Yeah.
But I do want you to know that like each of these cigars, we took a lot of time to get the details of, and they're real details. They're No,
I'm not unimpressed. Okay. I just honest. Okay. Like that's it. One of the sushi cigars, because we talked about how not all of them are tasting like sushi. Yeah. One of them particularly, I got the same like Asian noodles note specifically on it. And I'm like, yeah, this one's it.
It's real
the
deal.
other one was a chocolate bar, and I'm like, this is not sushi, but it's a damn good cigar.
I know that, yeah. my favorite in that was the salmon. I think the shrimp. Yeah. Yeah, the shrimp.
Ebby.
Yes, Costa Rica that's my jam right now, man. I'm loving what's going on there, and I'm looking forward to bringing out more product from there. So, all right, guys, I'll let you go, but thank you so much for having me on here. Thanks for having an open, honest conversation, and I would love to do this again. Once the link is up, I sent it out to a couple people in the chat, but once the link is up, I'll push it out.
Sounds good.
Cool. My man.
Awesome, man.
Enjoy the family, dude.
Talking to you, Brian.
Thanks for the time, brother.
It's my absolute pleasure. I appreciate you guys very much.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you, man.
Peace.
Good things to come.
Have a good night.
Yeah, man.
Fellas. Everybody
fun.
in the comments, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. I hope it wasn't overly controversial.
No, I think that was all good.
I think it was great.
Yeah.
I think it was great. I learned a lot, that I did not know, and I think that it's great that Brian was able to share some of the details on, kind of just a little bit of the origin, but also a little bit of the recent stuff, and everything. Very real.
I try to be balanced with the questions in there, man. I didn't
it was
feel
great.
like the dude was getting punished.
No, I think it was good. I mean, that was just not being on, which is one of the reasons I wanted him on the channel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the real conversation, man. It's funny because you see people that go online and they smoke cigars and have a conversation on a podcast, right? But they're still like in this the on mode, and then there's us that we're not on. We're just kind of just laid back, trying to talk about whatever. And now that we brought on, what is this now? 4 or 5 guests, 3 or 4 guests. I feel like our personality brings that out of them too. 100%. Like initially it starts off as where is this going to go? Because we don't ever give anybody like a script. Like these are the questions that we're going to ask you kind of deal. And then it just ends up being a good conversation.
Yeah. And I think
natural flow, man.
Yeah, a lot of them, they start with like, so tell me your background. So do this.
Yeah.
Like, no, just talk. Just say what you're going to say. And just be who you are, and that's the best you can do in this community anyway.
Yeah.
That's
it. If you're sitting in the backyard, if you're in a lounge, that's not how conversations like, oh, so where are you from? And like, what have you been doing for the past? Nobody's doing that bullshit, man.
Yeah.
100%. Cool deal, man.
This black licorice is freaking good.
Black licorice is really nice, man.
Yeah.
I'm still mad it doesn't taste like licorice though. Fuck out of here. I'm mad it don't taste like liquor.
That thing is jacked now.
It has almost these floral notes to it, but it's not straight licorice. The foot smelled like a good and plenty. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe this will be straight licorice.
When I cut and cold drew this, I was like, wait, hold on. It tastes a little licorice and like flavor. Yeah. And then I lit it up and it was just like creamy and buttery. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Like this is.
It was buttery. Yeah. Thank God for me, not licoricey. I hate that shit.
Dude, I got it off the cold draw though, and I was like, "Oh shit, we might be going down a rabbit hole."
We might have one. We might, yeah.
Translate. Thank God it didn't translate. For me, it's like if a blender is in a blending room, like, oh, I want this to really taste like black licorice. Like, no, who the fuck does that?
I actually really enjoy black licorice.
Yeah, and that's coming from me. That's coming from me. You know, I'm biased against it.
You're
liked
the norm,
licorice
though,
before.
100%.
Yeah.
Me and Michael are oddballs.
I'm the majority
we're
when
out
it comes
there.
to that.
Nobody bullshitting them about the candy corn though. Nobody was just like, "Oh, this is
No, it was not candy corn.
Everybody was like, "Yeah,
it was a good cigar.
That's the way it should be."
It was a decent Maduro. It was a decent Maduro that got, in my opinion, too minerally at the end.
Yes. The mineral aspect did pick up at that final third. The second third was great. Like the first third, going in the second third, everything was going great, and then like a little bit too minerally in the back end. But that happens.
I wish I could have smoked that with y'all, man. Like I really wish I could have had that, just so I can kind of give a little bit more of my opinion on his cigar.
I'm sure now that, well, not sure, but I'm confident now that you're getting situated. You know, Brian could probably send you some stuff out.
Yeah,
I'm probably sure he really
Yeah.
wants
At least
to.
I got a box now, man. I got a box. I don't have a home, but I can at least get some shit now. So I feel like he'll be open to do that.
I'll send you his direct email if you want to reach out.
My man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll politic with him. I ain't want to punch the guy in the ribs and no shit like that, man. I think people thought I was gonna try to flame him. I won't do it.
I was waiting for you to go harder, and I'm like, okay, this is
good.
This is nice.
Let's sit back and enjoy our cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a legit conversation though, just giving my real opinions, and
sure.
I wanted to hear him out. That was the main thing. So I wasn't trying to interrupt his flow, or I wanted to let him talk. He seemed a little nervous in a couple spots though, but that's.
Well, I think so. Watching, and I know y'all didn't because you can't stand him, and it's my guilty pleasure to sit through that bearded asshole talk to people. It was very like put him in a corner, and then he'd go into salesman mode. And in this, it was just Brian being Brian.
Yeah. But like that whole thing, man, it really was kind of fucked up to do that to anybody. To do it on some shit where you just feeling like, you didn't even let the man sit down and get comfortable. Figure out who he was, and just like smack you in the face with that. That's some cold blooded shit.
Yeah,
that's cold blooded. You can tell he was pissed about that shit too. He was hot. Like we didn't even mention it specifically, and he brought it up like, yo, that shit.
Yeah,
he felt some type of way about that. I don't blame him.
Yeah,
and
I'm still not the biggest fan. Sorry about that.
So, no, it's all good. I was just side note. I was gonna ask Sean in the chat how he liked the new face redux. But sorry, Keelan, you go.
No, let's talk about that. That's even better. Almost done with the face.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Michael enjoyed it. And you got one coming your way.
My man, I'll light it up. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I like being able to smoke these cigars.
It doesn't have a face. I was so sad when I saw it. I was like, it's just a white band. Why don't you put it back on?
Ghostface.
Basic band. It's probably I'm guessing it's probably just maybe time constraints. Like it took longer to put on the extra tobacco for the band, or maybe it's just cheaper, so you just put on if
you're trying to corner Halloween band all to yourself, you gotta come on, man.
Yeah, I feel you.
Gotta live up to it.
But the other side to that is he's so established now with that whole thing that he doesn't have to do anything now. He doesn't. I mean, his bands is always like that anyway. It's just like that little thin line. It's tattoo out here. Put some colors on it.
Florida leaf on it, and it's done.
That's it.
But luckily, he's so established he could do whatever. But he still came out, in my opinion, with a damn good cigar.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that. That's kind of the badass part about Pete, right? Is that he's taken these blends 13 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, and just recreated them, and they are like mirror images. Especially
that's
like especially with like the face this year. I mean, it is like right there. I mean, I smoked both of them within probably the time frame of 3 days apart, with no cigar in between. And like it was a mirror image. The only difference was that one wasn't as like spry because it had been 10 years. So it was well past its aging norm anyway, right?
Yeah.
And the other one's just fresh as hell.
There's
I mean, I think I smoked my face like right at 72 RH, which is way higher than I would normally ever smoke. I mean, even the ones tonight, I smoked a little bit higher, these Privada cigars, but
I think with like 6 months of age, that final third could be just as delicious as the other 2/3.
Yeah, for sure.
The Redux.
It sounded like Sean had a Sam Jackson moment. Like, he was like, "What the fuck is this, motherfucker?"
Yeah, we talked about it.
That's a good thing, man. I can't wait to try it.
Oh, man,
solid stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. Brian went to the. So I was going to say it's cool that that he went into the backstory with the Supreme Leaf, because that's in my opinion that's Aganorsa's best cigar, and it sucks that they're kind of pushing him to the side now that they got what they wanted out of him.
I will say it here, they actually need him, man, especially if they're gonna do the marketing shit. Cause for real, just being 100% with y'all, those cigars ugly as fuck, man. Yep. I know they smoke good. I know it's good tobacco, but goddamn, they gaudy and ugly as fuck, dude. That Supreme Leaf is fucking beautiful, man. Yep. It's a beautiful looking cigar. He did his thing with that shit.
It stands out.
No.
You can't miss it, and it sells off the shelf every fucking time. You remember a year or two ago, you couldn't get that shit. You had to fight to get a Supreme Leaf.
Yeah, they included it in their Privada's like Redux Brox, which was the first one I got, and I think it had 3 years of age on it, and it was really good.
I think that was their the limited one that was made just for Privada. That was like, instead of a 6x52, it was a 6x48 or 6x50, something like that.
It was. Ironically, though, that one didn't smoke as good as the other ones. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of people did. People were shitting on that cigar, dude. Really? People hated that motherfucker. They hated that Corona. But the Robusto is magic. The fucking Bellicoso is magic. It's just people weren't really in love with that one as much, man. But regardless, it sold the way it was supposed to. Why? Because the thing looked good and you got good tobacco. Sorry
to complete, going off another rabbit hole here. But Working Man Cigars, I really wish you just stopped your sentence after sitting.
What was that?
A face sitting, that's a whole different genre right there.
Yeah, where's Taurus?
Yeah, where's Texas
right?
Taurus?
It's too early for him. He's still pre-gaming right now.
The face city.
So are we going to go till 3 hours, or are we going to go till 10 p.m. Pacific time?
All right.
It's up to you, man.
I can grab another cigar.
I don't have any more. I'm down to my last, but I can
make it to the 3, then I gotta bounce. I can't go to 10. You crazy.
How was that bowl, Keelan?
What about the chat, man? What's that?
How was that bowl?
Yeah, how was that Andalusian bowl?
Oh man, that's just money. That's gonna be money every time, man. That's just the moment you light that motherfucker up, you like, yeah, I made the right choice with that shit.
Word up. You're gonna start chat hopping.
Where are these guys?
I told them, I was like, we're early today. Y'all are gonna miss it, because they're gonna show like where to go. Like we had to show when the sun was still on, which was a pain to deal with because my camera kept getting darker and my fucking light died.
You saw me, man. I was like, I was listening to everything, but I was just like, I can't talk. My computer's all jacked.
No, it gets fried. It's fucking
you got the bars come up. Yeah. It's so funny how the color bars come up anytime you overheat, Michael. It's so fucking funny. It's tight, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't feel like I was monopolizing, man. I didn't want it to seem like that, so I apologize, fellas.
You were good, man.
No, dude.
No, that's great. You guys connected.
When we had a break in the moment, I was like, all right, my only question is about whiskey and Penelope and alcohol, and I'm just gonna get this in right now, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, you're
And
fine.
I did have what is the name of this one, man? This is the Oscar one with the little colors on the band. I don't even know the name of this fucking
Hold
cigar,
on.
man.
High
Hey,
synesthesia.
DJ can tell you.
Yeah.
which is that the red or the yellow? I couldn't tell you based on the band.
Because that was your complaint. It's like, why the fuck would you do it like this? Like,
Yeah.
to me, that
It's
looks
on
like the
camera,
yellow. That looks,
Yeah, it looks like
That
it
looks
might
like
be
the
a
first one.
predicate. Yeah.
yeah.
I always forget the name of this one, man. I know you did a review on it not too long ago, but it had like a little cream soda vibe in the beginning of it, man. So I was enjoying it in the
Is that the-
beginning.
That
I
was
mean, it
definitely,
ain't
that
a
was
bull,
definitely
but
the
it did.
yellow.
Okay.
Definitely the yellow. Because the red, I've heard, I haven't had it, and I haven't had it because of this, but I've heard it's a pepper bomb, the red, the one that just recently came out.
This is definitely not that. This was more cream soda. So it was cool.
Yeah.
It was nice to have it. This is my first time having this one, man. It's been sitting around for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah, it didn't have a foot band. My man, Peter, coming
Oh,
through.
you're right.
That's even more confusing.
You're right.
Jeez.
Peter coming through in the clinch, oh boy. It's even more confusing. But hey, that's what you guys are for. You guys are the experts.
That's them. I just open boxes, man. Just pronounce names, and hope people don't get too mad.
Tamago Yoki. I had to give him the best for that shit.
I didn't even try when opening that box. I'm like, no. I know I'm not gonna say these right.
You know what I'm disappointed in though? Is that he didn't catch on to my reference about tasting the dirt. Like I was so pissed that he didn't get that shit. That shit went right over his head. I was like, God damn it.
His mind, he was too positive. He was thinking too positively. He's like, no, I but I did notice that, and I laughed.
We were all laughing. I think, he says so much because he has to say. I don't think he can remember every.
There's
line.
no way. There's no way.
Man.
That's why I was telling him he was a bullshit artist because he was just throwing shit out. He was just throwing shit out.
You kind of slide in the I taste the dirt everywhere I go in Japan. Like that was, it was very smooth. The way that you did it, it was like
every island I visit, I taste the dirt.
Because I didn't catch it. I was thinking about it. I was sitting there and I was like, wait, did he just say that shit? Did he just say that? And no response whatsoever because he was just going. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I have to check back for a second here.
Serenity now.
Oh man, got to keep it entertaining, man. It's good 100%. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the cigars are real. We are smoking real deal cigars.
Yeah, for sure.
Real deal opinions and feedback. That's the shit, man.
Yeah.
You guys got any movies off the top of the head? You guys had any time to check anything out, man? We're
in the last half hour. Let's get it in.
We are in movie time.
I watched that. What is it? The horror Back to the Future one that's on Prime. I can't think of what it is.
Man, I got halfway through that shit. What you think about it, man? What you think about it?
Silly as hell. Like it was good, but like none of it made sense halfway through. But it was. I think that was part of the point.
That's where I got to, because they got to the point where it's just like she started just like fucking up timelines and shit. Like she just started fucking everything up. So that's where I got. Like, nothing
this was
even
the
mattered.
time machine in the theme park thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We watched that.
She fucks things up so bad that at the end, and it's not a spoiler, but one of the characters hands her a book and is like, "Here, everything that you fucked up, here you go." Just because it's so bad, you're like, "There's no way the timeline is remotely right at this point."
Yeah.
The more you watch it, you can see you're like, oh, because that was the first thing that I thought. I was like, she's gonna fuck all of this shit up. There's no way that she's gonna be able to get this shit right. And like, I could see the shit evolving and changing. I didn't get to finish it because I was so busy. What was the name of that shit again? What is the name of this movie?
I can't remember. I'll look it up, but I can't remember. I saw it just the other day.
Was that Blumhouse?
I don't know.
Is it? I don't think so.
I had no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about.
It's like a new horror
movie,
Back to the Future movie on Prime.
That's the good way to describe it. So the whole thing is it's a serial killer.
Yeah.
And the serial killer comes in and kills his girl mom before she can get home on Halloween. So her homegirl is like they're having like a science fair or some shit like that in the old amusement park or whatever. And she creates a time machine. So the girl gets an idea that if she hops in this time machine, she can go back and stop the killer before he takes out all of these people. Like I think it's like 4 people that he's killed plus her mom.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. And she goes back and she's trying to stop this, but every time she tries to stop it, the motherfucker, kills somebody in a different way. And it just takes the timeline and just warps that shit.
Yeah.
Totally
It's
killer.
a good concept though.
Totally
Yeah.
killer.
Totally killer.
Totally killer. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. It's like a period piece. They kind of go back to the 80s.
Yeah.
Is it the 80s or the 70s?
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
It's 87.
So it's really back to the future with a slasher involved. So I like the fact that it's a different type of movie. At least they're trying to do something that's unique right here. Horror comedy.
Yeah.
It was some cool shit.
Okay. Right. If there's comedy, I can get down with it.
Yeah, it's a comedy with a slasher.
We tried watching the new Nun that came out. And that was terrible. And then also the new Goosebumps with Justin Long in it.
Oh yeah.
Gotta love that. Justin Long.
That's your guy,
gotta
man.
love that shit.
It's the bane of my existence, man.
That's his whole thing now, man. He's at this point. He's just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna do these little B movie horrors now. Like, fuck it.
That's all he can do. That's all he can do. He has no choice. That's all he fucking can do. That fucking guy.
I mean, he's
what a queef.
He's done shit like that for forever. What was it?
Tusk.
Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jeepers Creepers. Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers and Tusk. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll never not be a walrus for me now. I can't not see that. It's awful. Every time I see him, I was like, oh, thanks for bringing that image right back up, man. He's just sitting there with a tear going down his face.
That's some cold shit. The only thing I did was look at the pictures, man. I couldn't go back and watch that fucking movie.
It's awful. It was like watching a car wreck, and I'm like, all right, what's next? Show me the next scene.
Have you guys heard of Skinamarink?
Yeah.
No.
I actually heard it was actually pretty good. I haven't watched it. What did you think?
I didn't watch it. I watched this guy's explanation, like theories, because it's it's a pretty obtuse horror movie. It's made by a YouTuber that I guess it just took off, kind of like Blair Witch or Paranormal Activity. It's very low budget. It took $15,000 to make, and it was all filmed at the guy's childhood house, and it looks fucked up. It looks really fucked up, like bad, like endangerment of children, and it's very bad. But it looks just talking about it.
Everything I've heard is like you need to be on shrooms to watch that movie, because it's like the more you get into it, the freakier it gets, and like it really doesn't have like a plot. It's just like it's just some weird creepy house. That's every like review that I've seen on it.
Weird.
Yeah, it looks like it would be worth watching, except it's like I told my wife, because my wife, she can handle horror to a certain extent, but once it gets up to like a paranormal, like ghosts and demons and shit, she can't do that. And like that's like I told my wife, that's your worst nightmare right there. Try to watch that movie, because it's like the mom gets possessed, the dad gets possessed, like there's this demon in the house, and just yeah,
it's one of those for sure. I did watch since we're in the Halloween season, I did finally watch the most recent Scream. Did you guys watch that one? Was it Scream 6 or whatever? Yeah, that was. It's really cool at first because they're in New York and they didn't do the Jason Goes to Manhattan shit. They're like actually in New York, so you get the New York vibe. But once it gets to the end, that shit gets so fucking hokey and corny. It's like, what the fuck happened in this movie? But it was alright, a little something.
Yeah,
it's worth taking the time to watch.
So it's not something I watched recently. I linked it to DJ. And it's like
I still haven't watched that. You just reminded me.
It's about this guy, and it literally happened in real life, and it happened in Japan. About this guy who died the most slow, horrendous death ever due to radiation poisoning. He got like 20,000 20,000 times more radiation in one moment than anybody should within a year. And he somehow survived the initial encounter with he literally was like in the same room as a fucking nuclear radiation. What do they call it? Criticality happened.
Yeah.
And
was it that Fukushima shit?
No. It was I forget where, but it was an isolated incident in Japan, and it happened in 1999. And and the fucked up thing is like he initially seemed like he would have been okay, but the way radiation poisoning works, you gotta just survive the symptoms, and the symptoms take up to a few days to kind of really take hold, because your body's because your initial cells, they'll still live out, skin cells, whatever cells in your body, they'll live out, but they all have to be replenished. Radiation fucks all your DNA up and inhibits your body from being able to reproduce. So the guy literally went through 83 days of his skin falling off, of literally his Hisashi ouchie. And isn't it fucking ironic that the guy who lived through the most painful death in history has the last name Ouchie?
Ouchie.
Wow.
That's the most Matt pun ever do.
So seriously, I watched the Wendigoon. Wendigoon is the name of the channel. It's a great fucking channel. He goes over a lot of different topics. Yeah, what Wendigoon?
Great channel. We talked to radiation poisoning. Yes.
But yeah, he explains it in such a great way and very enthralling way. I watched it last week. I think about it every fucking day. I've been thinking about it every fucking day, like how insane that shit was.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta find that shit. It's weird they don't talk about that shit out here. Like I'm in Nagasaki right now. There's so much radiation. The rest of my hair might fall out. So,
and we just started watching Chernobyl last night, the HBO series.
Yeah.
The miniseries.
That's why you're talking about it every day. You just keep going down
going down the radiation rabbit hole.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, I only got one episode into that. That was a good show.
Yeah, we watched the first episode last night. I want to watch the next episode. Yeah, it's really good. And I'm usually like I have to be kind of enticed to continue watching a show because I'm not a big TV guy. Right. But that show, I'm like, let's go to the next episode. And it's also historical, historically accurate. Yeah. So
how do you guys feel about Gen V?
Oh, dude, I'm digging that shit. I'm like 2 episodes back now, man, because I've been so busy. But I dig that shit.
It took me a couple episodes to get into it. You could explain it though, Keelan.
I didn't because I love The Boys. Like did you see The Boys? The superhero shit?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gen V is basically they got this whole this school for gifted,
like a college,
people that were injected. Yeah, it's like a college for all these people that got these superpowers and shit. So basically, they're uncovering a whole lot of shit that's happening underground and a lot of testing and all that kind of shit that they're doing. But it's just like the fucking Boys. You got it's all this crazy ass gore in it, but at the same time, they're really developing the characters. So it's some good shit, some good superhero shit too. I watch this shit over Marvel any fucking day, man. This shit is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Marvel.
Yeah,
that shit is garbage right now. Garbage.
You want to understand one movie? Watch these 17 shows first. They're also terrible.
Yeah, watch these horrible shows.
Yeah.
And they're fucking up now. How do you fuck up Daredevil, yo?
I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick.
You get
gotcha, man.
You can't make comments. They control the chat.
It's gonna go make a short.
Speaking of the chat though, man, I'm amazed. Were people really that quiet during the fucking live? Or is it just,
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
We had. I think we peaked around 80 congruent viewers, and they were just silent.
That's wow, dude.
80
I don't think
people,
we've ever had one like that.
Yeah.
Usually this shit is just going off like bling. You got a whole bunch of shit popping up. That shit was quiet as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, did I piss people off?
I know. I kept looking at the numbers. I'm like, did we drop? No, we're still climbing. But they're just listening.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see what the feedback is going to be like once this is all said and done. Like, is it going to be some shit that people talk about later or what?
I mean, I don't think we'll have an article written on us, so like, there's that. But
Yeah.
We'll see.
yeah.
Cedar forward. Cedar
Cedar
forward. God, man, I talk about that shit all the time too. I feel like I should have that shit off the top of my head.
The Southern Draw Cedrus is one that immediately comes to mind, but I wouldn't say that it's like my favorite. I think that it's there for sure. That's
I think that's one to try anyway because it's so different anyway. I mean, you want to talk about a woody fucking cigar. That is it, man. That is it.
The SP1014 Red has a considerable amount more cedar to it in the blend than like the blacks or the industry killer.
Yeah, if you're looking to just taste cedar, that's pretty much all you get on the Brickhouse Double Connecticut. Like it's only cedar. Like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
And that's such a common one. So like I'm curious, see, like is that like a flavor profile that you love and like you're hunting out at this point? Because you get so many cigars, especially like during the first third, that's what you're gonna get on like a shit ton of cigars, man. That cedar is usually the first thing before it starts to kind of blend and meld into other things. The XO is a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. Damn, man, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. That's one I would have to sit back and think on. I would like, that's such a common
few
profile.
Fuentes out there too that can get their like the Rosado lines and the 858 sun growns and stuff like that. They can be pretty cedar forward too.
Definitely the sun. The Chateau sun grown too.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate it, D Love.
Yeah, man.
Good to see you in the building too, homeboy.
Haven't seen you in a minute.
It's the holidays, man. He's got all the baking coming up. He's got the holiday pies, October, November, December.
I'm gonna show y'all how hood I am. I'm gonna eat a cold Pop-Tart.
Hey, a lot of them are better.
Bad, dude. Yeah.
The short answer is yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Their money. Their money.
Yo, I didn't know that Sans Patel question was gonna go the way it went either.
Right?
I was not expecting that shit. That shit was not intentional, yo.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm like, yeah, I thought he'd just be like, yeah, I've heard of him, and then it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was some back history on that one.
Oh, you're getting too dark. Hold on.
Because the whole thing that I wanted to talk about in that shit was like how he was looking at the industry killer.
Yeah, yeah.
And how he was using the price on that's where I was gonna go with that, but that shit went a whole different direction.
It's funny that we didn't think about it between the parallels of Chico Rivas and like the the cigars coming from the same factory. It's kind of funny.
No, I mean, it's
and Paps. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying, Sanj for the most part, at least for me, came out of nowhere. So like all of a sudden he was just there with a shit ton of cigars, and a whole lot of generosity.
Gotta be if you're cutting your cigars up like it's nothing. You gotta be generous.
Just look what's inside. Like,
thumbing through it.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Paps, as much as I am a fanboy of Saka and everything that he blends, I did a video on that one where I paired it with A5 Wagyu. Since I'm here in Japan, if it's red meat lovers, you can't get much better red meat than that. Honestly, I don't know if it was the Wagyu that was just so rich and fatty and oily and flavored. Like I didn't get much from the red meat lovers. Like I wasn't like a huge fan of the cigar itself.
So
the pairing, it's just it's all right, it's cool. Yeah. And I don't know, like Saka might choke the fuck out of me, but like just to be real, it's a decent cigar, but it didn't blow me away by any stretch.
Yeah, and the whole
I've still never had it.
It's a lot of like mesquite wood.
Yeah,
it's smoky.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't smoke it by itself. I'm not going out like, oh, I gotta like when he's gonna release red meat lovers again, like, oh, I gotta go out and get it. I'll go out and jump overboard to get a lot of soccer shit. I give a fuck about the red meat lovers unless I got
it. Dude, I tell you what, next time I see, I'm gonna have to keep closer tabs on it. But next time I see the Don Dermas come out, I'm grabbing a fucking box.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
Dude, those things are fucking amazing. Not the Golden Child.
When Brian was talking about the retrohale, that was immediately the cigar that popped into my head. As soon as he was going on about the people retrohaling cigars, I was just like, man, the Don Dorma, that retrohale sounds so good right now.
God, dude, I'm glad Peter sent me one of the original ones too, not just the Golden Child.
That Golden Child, man, I was actually really surprised, man. I was glad it wasn't just me, because I'm literally sitting out here smoking that cigar by myself. I was like, I don't got to do a review. It's just me and this cigar. And I just thought it was going to be like the OG. And I was like, okay, it's cool. Now I got to smoke that cigar again just to see like what it's like as the Golden Child and not compared to the OG Don Dorma, man. Because that thing is up here.
Yeah, because Peter, he sent it to me, and then he said, like, he messaged me and said, I'm surprised you got that much pepper. Because he said for him it was super smooth, super... I forget, like chocolatey or creamy, whatever. But I was like, I didn't get any of that. I just got pepper.
I was hoping to get more of the chocolate. Yeah, I was hoping to get more of the chocolate in it, and like you would get like little hints of it, and then it was just like, nah, I'm not giving you that.
It took it back. Yeah, not down, not down for that cigar.
I'll have to read what mine says. I don't know what mine says, if it's the regular or if it's the Golden Child or not. I got one in there.
I hope I hope it doesn't say Golden Child on it for your sake.
I'll read that when I get done here.
that OG, man, is a beautiful fucking cigar. It's so good. And to answer the question that was just up, I really don't like. I don't look at it like, oh, I gotta have this kind of meal. I just want something that's gonna be satiating for the most part, especially when folks get something strong. A lot of protein, a lot of vegetables, just all like, I'm like, okay, I know my body's gonna be able to handle all of the shit that I'm taking in. But I haven't had like a lot of sickness lately from smoking cigars. I don't know if it's just the tolerance is up or what. I haven't been feeling that, a lot of nicotine rush in a while.
Yeah.
This
I don't know if it's just
money, though. I'll tell you that.
This past week I've been so run ragged. I smoked the Cameroon yesterday, the release, the industry killer. I felt like a fucking wuss. I'm like, I have a way higher tolerance than this. And I guess I was just tired from the week. So I'm like, damn. I got halfway through that cigar. And I was like, what the hell?
Any industry killer, any Sanj Patel cigar, except for the black 7x54. I felt a little bit of a nicotine kick after that one. That's a big fucking cigar.
Yeah.
But yeah, any industry killer, I've never had any inkling of any nicotine, anything.
Yeah. I ain't really got it from those either.
I felt like a wuss.
McAuliffe Black is good. That's a damn good cigar.
Very good cigar.
I'm not big on McAuliffe.
I still haven't had McAuliffe at all.
That's wild. 2 tips? Wowzers.
That's getting your intake for the day.
Yeah, I like nicotine too, but man, that's a lot.
Yeah, let them sit and acclimate, Albert. That's the best advice I can give. And also, like, dry box, that helps. If you feel like, anytime you feel like your cigars aren't up to snuff or like aren't as good as you think they should or could be, dry box. Yep. Dry box and let them acclimate to the ambient, humidor.
Yeah, San says you could just pick them up off the floor, but it's just
fuck out of here, San.
Yeah, it's a little. That's that salesmanship.
Yeah, they're good cigars, but you still got to treat them like a cigar.
I feel that goes double for Sanjay cigars. The same way with Aganorsa. It's like you can't smoke those cigars wet. Just don't do it. It is really not worth it. It washes out completely. Just the whole experience is not fun. But when you get that, any of Sanjay's cigars at the right temp, man, they smoke beautifully. They taste pretty good to me. But once again, man, just like you can't base it on our palates. You're really gonna have to see for yourself to see how it works out for you, man.
You just gotta not believe in humidity. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, humidity's for suckers.
And they may just not be for you.
Yeah,
that would be a great discourse. Would be Brian talking about aging his cigars and Sanj telling him that if the cigar is not rolled ready to smoke.
That might be interesting anyway, just to get those two on. We could just sit back and just let the show
Like
go
Godzilla
for like
versus
3
King
hours.
Kong, bro. That'd be amazing.
Anything. They'd just be on the platform, and we'd be sitting there like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the chat tonight. It'd just be like, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Go.
I
Bro,
thought about
50
that shit in the
milligram
middle of that.
That's insane.
I didn't even know that they made 50 milligram pouches.
Jeez.
I don't know what that means.
Me either.
Is that a
The
lot?
little like
That's how
snooze
much.
packets.
Yeah.
That's how many milligrams of nicotine are in the pouch.
That's just chilling in your mouth.
Fuck.
Is that a lot? I don't. Is that like
So,
what's
The average is about 4 per
okay?
pouch.
Yeah.
God
Okay.
damn.
What's the average like milligram for nicotine in any cigar? Any average cigar?
I'm not sure if it's quantifiable because every cigar is fermented differently, right? But
Yeah, I was thinking if it is quantifiable.
It's also not sitting right up against your gum line going straight into you.
That's wow.
Yeah.
That's some gangster shit.
I think that 90 or something like that there is like a level for nicotine poisoning too. Yeah.
Good pay-per-view.
Hell yeah, man. We'll get both of those cats on.
Oh, the chat woke the fuck up now. Jesus.
Yeah. Glad y'all talking
for us to leave.
Hey Sean, do you know about the Cobra? Okay. It's a cigar that Oliva makes, and I think it was like known to be one of the stronger cigars.
Where do you find all of these unicorn Olivas, bro?
Dude,
the thing is Cobra.
It's a bundle cigar too. It's a bundle cigar too, I believe. Yeah, the Special S, man. God damn. Anybody out there who has access, hit up Cigar Hound Dog, please.
I don't think I've ever seen you more in love with a cigar, dude. Yeah, that's crazy. Look, dude. Right now, Principle is where it's at. That black gold and the gold is really where it's at, dude.
The gold band's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The white's solid. I haven't tried the black gold yet, but I think I have one somewhere.
Dude, I want you to smoke that fucking cigar, dude. Like if anybody's opinion on that cigar, dude, I want you to have that shit, man. That shit was amazing.
I gotta find it. Fucking needle in a haystack, dude.
I don't think I got any more either, man. I think all of mine are gone. I think the last one I got left is the gold.
You have the Desind. Is it called the Desind? The one Principal made at EP's factory. That the Accomplice Desind. That's for the 10th anniversary of Principal. It has like a black and gray fabric band and footband. It just came out.
I got to dig.
It just came out. No, you have one coming your way. You have one coming your way.
Oh, okay. Oh, my man. Okay. And I was like, I don't have that one in there because I got what is the one that's like, it's a number. Is it 2-5 or something that you sent me or something, 4-5 or some shit like that? It's a number, whatever.
Yes, that's a Zimbabwean. That's like the almost Zimbabwean Puro.
Yeah. That's one.
I think the 520. The 520. I think it's called
520. I knew it was a number or something like that. My dyslexic ass is gonna fuck numbers up regardless, but.
No,
I haven't smoked that shit yet, and I got one more gold left, man. I was looking at that shit just last night. Like, do I pull this motherfucker out? Goddamn, that shit is so good.
That's a beautiful cigar.
Money.
What are the best practices for limited edition cigars you really like? What do you like? What best practices in what sense? Like how much to buy because they're limited?
Yeah, man. Because I would kind of go on a diatribe, but I don't do that whole limited shit. Like, I'm trying to smoke them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not collecting shit. I'm not holding it up. So I'm not like, if I can get my hands on it, I'm getting my hands on it so I can smoke the cigar, man.
Yeah.
LFD Digger.
Yeah,
I don't even know that.
The LFD Digger is like a 8 or 9 inch cigar. It's a double Ajero, but it's just like a gigantic cigar.
Nope. Nope. Not gonna be able to do it. just,
Hell
just
yeah.
I don't like. I'm not a thrill seeker. I don't think I'm smoking cigars just so I can, get fucked up while I'm sitting in my chair. Just enjoy the moment, man. Just enjoy the moment. Like unless you really are a collector and that's your thing, you got, like, I was talking to my man Jerome about this recently. Like he that's his thing. He likes collecting cigars. He likes having them just because they're limited editions. And Privada might be the way to go because that's their whole thing is these LCAs and these limited edition cigars. To me, it's just like hype beasts with sneakers. Like some of these things they're releasing just so people will buy them, and it can just be mediocre. So like unless you just want to tell people like, yo, I got this limited cigar, cool. But if you want to just enjoy the cigar, smoke it to see if you like it, and then go and see if you can get more. Because honestly, it's very few of them that are just so limited that you're never gonna get your hands on it. Like unless they go to like a super popularity thing, like the Supreme Leaf, where you just can't get it, or the Bull, where like they sell out so fast that you're not gonna be able to get your hands on them. Everybody got a limited edition cigar now. Everybody's like got some kind of LE. It's gonna be LE 2022, 2023. The 2024 is gonna be coming out. Just get it so you're enjoying the cigars, unless you want to just say I got all these Los Calaveras.
Yeah, and just know there'll always be a cigar just as good, if not better, coming out soon after. They're not that particular run will run out, obviously, but something else very similar will come out sometime down the road.
Yeah,
and at this point, they're gonna. Sorry.
Well, I was just about to say, one of the things that I said was P. Johnson comes back 10 years later, reblending all of these Halloween limited editions. And they seem like if you really pay attention, you can find them like the week that they're released, right?
Yeah.
And I remember if there's one thing about the Halloween monsters from back in the day, they were so much harder because the internet wasn't so well involved. We didn't have, as many shops involved. We didn't have, and like, I feel like more people now have the opportunity to try these monsters as they get released every single year and to discover these blends. I mean, there were a couple of people that commented on my video and they were like, man, I really wish that I could have tried an original face. And it's like, well, you kind of can, you get the same blend now and it's almost identical in so many ways that in some ways it's probably even better because of the fact that Pete's better at blending and better at making sure that the quality control is better than he even was, back 10 years ago.
More resources,
Yeah, to Brian's point, like some of the tobacco coming out of Nicaragua right now is probably the best that it's ever been. So you're probably getting a better face now than you could have 10 years ago.
Good point.
In other words, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, man. Because everybody's like doing this limited shit. Dude.
If it's really good, it's going to come back.
It's going to come back. Especially if people pay for it. You'll see it again.
Yeah.
You'll see it again. It's like Jordans. Like at one point in time, like you couldn't get your hands on Jordans. And now it's like, oh, we were re-releasing the Jordan 4 for the 4th time. So yeah, you got your chance to get it. It's coming back.
Yeah.
Unless it's like the Oliva S. That's like the only one you can't get your hands on.
Yeah, unless it's one of these Oliva unicorns, bro.
Fucking hell. Fucking Oliva. Coming out with $300 cigars instead. You fuckers. You fuckers.
That's funny.
Don Derma.
Yeah. That might be. And the principles, all the principles I've had recently. That Don Dorma was crazy. The principles were crazy.
Yeah.
Really fucking good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have.
Are we good?
The 3-hour mark. I think
we have.
I think everyone's.
We did it.
Tapped out.
We did it.
Yeah. Good deal, everyone.
All right, fellas, that was fun. Let's see the backlash. Let's see what happens after that.
Are we going to let everybody know about our proposed schedule for lives?
Sure.
Because what were we talking about?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess. Our goal is to every other week.
Yeah.
That's the
every
goal.
Every other
right?
week is the goal.
That sounds good to me.
So everybody that's watching, every other week, and we were saying Saturdays like this, just the later time.
Yeah,
Or
the
were we
later
still deciding?
time for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Okay,
John
fuck y'all,
is
'cause
good
like-
for Saturdays. But we'll
I ain't trying to wake up at 4 a.m. for y'all. Again,
Dude, trying to
to
set this up during the day was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But we made it happen.
We made it work,
Absolutely,
though.
yeah.
We made it work.
for
Yeah.
sure. And it was worth it and it was good. But I'm like, this is not going to be a norm for us. At least not for me.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, because it'd still be like, 15 minutes from starting, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
everyone just now woke up. So I think we're good for the later time.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey man, we had 80 people in though. That's not bad at all, man.
No,
Yeah, man.
Not bad.
good deal. All right, y'all.
Always good to see you, fellas.
Always good to hang
Good
out.
chilling, dude.
Likewise.
Always great.
Until next time.
See you
we'll
guys.
y'all.
Alrighty, boys. Have a good weekend.
Peace.
See ya. You too.